The views and opinions expressed on this channel are solely those of the host and guest and are intended for entertainment and discussion purposes only. This channel does not promote bias, hatred, or discrimination of any kind. All questions posed and thoughts shared are part of a critical thinking exercise and are not meant to offend or judge any individual or group. We encourage respectful dialogue and love for all. Please remember to think critically and engage thoughtfully. We aim to foster a positive and inclusive community where everyone feels welcome. Thank you for being a part of Risky Behavior ENT.
Risky behavior. Risky behavior.
Yo, what's up? How y'all doing? Welcome back. This is Risky Behavior ENT. I am your host, the Diabolical one himself. Today's title is Monogamy versus polygamy, which is more natural. So I'm gonna be reacting and doing a video on. Shout out to Dr. Daff. If anybody is unaware of that channel, go over there, check it out, and subscribe. That's Dr. Dr. Daff, DAF. Great YouTube channel, and they hold a lot of discussions. I want to say what's up to my brother, Mr. Marcus Banks himself in the building. How you doing today, brother? How you doing? If y'all would give me a moment, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. Share. Oh, yeah, of course I want to include system audio. Boom. All righty. All right, so yeah, today we're talking about monogamy versus polygamy. How'd it go? There we go. So why is this thing acting this way? Boom. I apologize, y'all. I'm bringing it up now. So we're gonna get into monogamy versus polygamy. Versus monogamy is one man, more woman. I guess in today's day and age, it would include one man, one woman, one woman for those people that participate in things like that. No judgment on that today because I'm not talking about that today. Boom. What's up, LTR veteran? How you doing today? All right, let's go ahead and jump into this video. I had some other tabs up saying, monogamy involves having one partner at a time, while polygamy allows for multiple partners simultaneously, each with distinct cultural, emotional, and legal implications. So there we go. Let's go ahead and jump into this conversation. I'm under the impression after watching this video, though, that a lot of people say that they're polygamous, and I think they just freaky people. I'm gonna be honest with you, and that's no judgment to anybody, but I think sometimes people just want to live a life they want to live and call it polygamy. Certainly what some people describe is not what I would think of the traditional sense when it comes to polygamy. But anyway,
We sit down with two groups of women whose approaches to love and commitment couldn't be more different. Monogamous women who value deep, exclusive partnerships, and polyamorous women who embrace the freedom of multiple romantic connections. Together, they unpack what loyalty, trust, and fulfillment mean in their worlds. They challenge common stereotypes and explore how society views their choices. Is monogamy still the gold standard, or is the future of relationships more open than we think? Let's step into the conversation and discover the truths, tensions, and shared humanity that connect them. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Daff. Welcome to The Bridge.
Hi everyone, my name is Janet and I am monogamous.
Hello, my name is Sonali and I am an Indian American monogamous madam.
Hi, my name is Tashara and I am monogamous.
Hi, I'm Chelsea and I'm monogamous as well.
Hi, I am Daphne and I am polyamorous.
Hi, I'm Els and I am polyamorous.
Hi, I'm Lady Beaver and I'm solo poly.
Hi, I am Reverend Soulflower and I am polyamorous.
Thank you, ladies, for being here. And the first prompt is, humans are naturally wired for monogamy. Okay. Anyone can elaborate or speak on their thoughts on that question.
Well, you said humans. From my life experience, I have found that men are not biologically made for monogamy.
I completely agree with that.
Hence my thumbs down. But I believe women, and this I'm speaking generally, women tend to be more monogamous in my life experience as an Indian American millennial.
I think that humans, or however people self-identify, aliens too, individuals have a lot of love to give. And I think that society has placed a barrier up to what love looks like and means like for a lot of people. And I think that I think our species is definitely meant to spread love in a different capacity than I think what we believe. You know, it doesn't inherently have to be a sexual connection. It could be an emotional connection. It could be a positive connection. And I think that us as individuals and humans, we're meant for that.
I will say though, I think that you can be monogamous and love people all day long.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that just because you're polyamorous, that means you're the one that's pouring more love out into the world.
I
I've
agree.
been single and monogamous for a long time, and I feel like I've never given so much love as I am now.
That's a beautiful take on it. I can agree with.
Shout out to my brother, Mr. Marcus said he's with the polygamy. Okay. Hey, for those who do actually practice polygamy, do you ever feel that there are people that sometimes want to get into it for the wrong reasons and take advantage of it, and maybe that's why people are looking at it weird, is because just like as a monogamous person, I feel like there's people that practice it, they give it a bad name as well. I was wondering, do y'all feel that way?
That too, you know, I think that it's allowing yourself to open up to different types of connections too, and being able to have that love with the level of vulnerability that brings in that the relationship aspect with that individual, because sometimes there is like that barrier when you're not with someone, you know.
You know, you
But I
said
love
that you have like a lot of love to give, and that doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. Like at the same time, that is monogamy. Like you can be monogamous with one person, but then also spread love elsewhere. You can give it to your friends, you can give it to your family, you give it everywhere. It doesn't necessarily mean you have, like you said, you literally just said sexual. So technically you are kind of describing monogamy in a
So do
way.
you think that monogamy has to do with sexuality? Because let's think about the people who are asexual in polyamorous or in different types of relationships. It's not inherently just that sexual aspect. It's a type of connection that you have with an individual more than anything else.
Personally, I believe monogamy is like when somebody's having a relationship with someone in a sexual relationship. And
Okay,
that's
the beginning of
monogamy.
that part one more time for me.
Monogamy
No, before that.
is between two people. It's having a relationship, an intimate relationship between two people, which usually consists of sexual activity.
I have a question for everyone here.
And that's the part that gets me. Shout out to Naya, what's up? What's up, Naya? Back up. That's the part that gets to me too, to say to take away the sexual aspect of it. If you take away the sexual, the intimacy, then you just got a friendship. Why is that poly? Right? I don't get that. If you're taking away all these other things that make up a relationship, right? There's still some, I guess, form of intimacy. I think they want to say, well, we take away the sex and the sexual. That's weird to me. Then just have friendships and people that you share things with. I don't understand why that has to be poly.
Can you fully commit to more than one person at a time?
Absolutely.
One partner at
Yes,
a time. Can
absolutely.
you fully commit? Okay, anyone want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, touching on what you said, I would agree with most of what's being said because yes, my longest standing polyamorous relationship is 13 years and it's a non-sexual relationship. And I'm fully committed, I'm totally invested, I'm totally in love, he's totally in love, we're fully committed to each other. And then there are partners that, you know, I like to break it down with people that I work with that there's a heart choice, a head choice, and a womb choice, right? So the person that guides you spiritually might take you closer to God. They might not be the person that the womb specifically speaks to, right? Or the one that speaks to your heart, the one that opens you up to that abundance of love that you spoke of. That's a different experience. So each of my partners contribute to the whole holiness in myself, and they contribute in different ways. So I fully commit to all of them.
So I have a question for you. In that case, so if different people are sort of meeting the different needs that you have, don't you feel like maybe you could be exclusive with one person as a partner and then have friendships or other connections that meet some of those other intimate parts? Or do you think that intimacy that you are sharing with these people is so intimate that it has to be considered like a relationship?
That's what I was asking. She asked it a way better way than I was, but that's what I was thinking.
Oh, yes. So do I believe that can happen? Yes. But if we take it and break it down, intimacy is just into me see, right? So with each person and each partner that you're sharing yourself with, you're able to share parts of yourself that you might not be able to share with other partners that allow you really to show up and learn yourself. You think when you get into relationships, I was married and monogamous for 8 years. And we were both fronting, you know, like he kept having affairs and doing the thing. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind a sister wife to your biological nature, right? So I'm like, just
Oh man, some great comments. Full Metal Chad says, why would you allow another man to have your girl? Never in my life. I agree with you, brother. Hell no. No, 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 no. I couldn't do it. Call it jealousy, call it possessive, call it insecure. Could not do it. Now your backup came through and said they poly because they seeking the functional family experience while avoiding commitment. They all have abandonment issues. Naya, I agree with you, and so does Mr. Marcus Banks. And when she says, can you fully commit to multiple people at the same time? I'm going to say no. And Naya, you brought up a good point, right? They want this experience, but avoid true commitment. Anybody that is married or been with the same person, if you don't believe in the traditional marriage sense, but you believe in a lifelong partner, right? You could be with that person 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You never fully know them. And we're changing constantly. The older we get, we're coming into more of the person that we are. You know, when you're in your 30s, you're not like in your 20s. There's standards, beliefs, and just different things about yourself that you're adding on to yourself and reconfiguring yourself and how you want to live your life and how you think, how you feel. Just everything about you is changing constantly, right? To think that you could do that with all these people and just truly get to know them, I just don't believe that. I think you're avoiding a full commitment and a full intimacy with one person, and you're splitting yourself apart with all these other people. This person I'll get to know in this way. This person I get to know in this way. This person I get to know in that way. Instead of doing that all with that one person. So I think I agree with you. I think they're avoiding what true commitment truly is. Because I don't see that as because she said fully commit. I don't think you're fully committing to anybody if you're splitting apart different aspects of yourself amongst different people.
just, hey, let's just talk about it and let's be forward facing about it so we can have a dialogue, so we can expand, because I'm about community village building. And I believe that the partnerships that, they contribute to me, yeah, like it's polyamorous because it means many loves. And that's that.
Did you become a polygamist because of cheating? Because the fact that he was seeking others?
No, I initially, so that played a role, but the initial start was I have a friend that was my friend since I was 12, and I love him. And when I got married, my husband was like, you got to get rid of him. I'm here now and I'm the one, and I can tell by the way he looks at you that he might want to. And I'm like, no, I don't get those vibes. But as a woman, I got those vibes. But I also know how I am, and I'm like, okay, now I'm trying to put on this mask of monogamy. I'm trying to portray myself as being as if all the love I am, all of the just, I'm in 1,000 colors. All of that can be enclosed into one space. So I'm like, let's give it a shot.
Do you mind elaborating when you said cheating did kind of?
Well, yes, it contributed to the decision because, like I said, the friend that I had, he was somebody that I wasn't willing to let go of. And so my husband was like, well, if you're not willing to let him go, then I don't think that we're in a monogamous marriage. He's Muslim, very strong Muslim practices. And that's kind of what opened the door. My friendship, him deciding to move into, poly, can we cook?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. If you get married and you're not willing to let go of some past relationship that you had, because mind you, this relationship didn't grow or go anywhere. That's why you married someone else. So you cannot fully commit to multiple people at the same time because you didn't fully commit to your husband because you wouldn't let the other person go. So that goes against what she was saying earlier.
Us, girl, because it's polyephory, okay, instead of polyamory. And I was like, yeah, no, this is just it's not honest. I like honesty, I like fair, I like brutally candid.
I would like to double down on that. So one of the things I always say when we're opening up talking about polyamory is I'd rather deal with jealousy than dishonesty any day. So that's part of the commitment and knowing your boundaries. You have your boundaries within your relationship or ships. Your boundary with one partner might be different than your boundary with another partner, right? As long as everyone's respecting those boundaries, you are committed in that sense. Because I'm saying this is what we can and can't do. This is what I'm willing, what I'm not willing. This is what my heart says yes to, no to, whatever the case may be, right? But I'd rather it, even as my other partner, like let's say my partner is talking to me, I would rather you tell me straight up, hey, I'm feeling this person, not feeling this person, than me catch something behind your back when we could have all had fun together 9 times out of 10. We're so open-minded.
Come on.
So I'd rather deal with, jealousy, my own ego and jealousy than dishonesty any day. Because dishonesty does what? Tear down relationships more than anything else. Once you lose that trust, it's really hard to get it back. But if you're working through that, I can set my ego aside and be like, okay, part of me felt this type of way, but I know that's my ego speaking. In reality, this love is this, and that, and I can deal with this jealousy than do that.
I'd rather find.
I hate when people speak about ego that way, but that still doesn't describe a full commitment. If I'm with you and I'm not giving you all of me and I'm taking part of me away from that relationship and giving it to somebody else, that is not a full that's not being fully committed.
And someone that's loyal, though, or it's like I'd rather marry a man that was going to allow me to have other friendships that have been in my life before that person.
So would that
So
make
what does
him less
loyalty
loyal?
have to do with polyamory?
What's up, Ruth? What's up, Ruth? How you doing? What's up? Oh, and what I said about ego is when people talk about ego, they always talk about it from a negative standpoint. Ego, and let's make this clear, and anybody can look this up. Ego is just your sense of self. When people speak about ego in a certain way, what they're talking about is an imbalanced ego. If your ego is overinflated, that's when you have a person that is arrogant. You take away a person's ego or you shrink it, guess what you get? Insecurity.
Because you're saying that because of all the dishonesty and the person was going to cheat, then if we have a polyamorous relationship, we get to be honest about the desire.
Did I say that, or is that just the assumption in the monogamy community? Because
No,
all
I
I
thought you
said,
just said
I
that.
said I would deal with jealousy over dishonesty. Not that I personally dealt with dishonesty in that sense. I would rather deal with that, just knowing what there is out there, being in relationships,
So you're
having all
talking
this. I
about
would just deal with
prevention.
that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
you're talking about preventing dishonesty.
I would say just preventing a distrust in general, in all aspects. I would just rather deal with that.
I
and grow
just
with
feel
that.
like that us as humans, we are looking at others and constantly connecting in many different ways, and we're either looking at them in a lustful way, or it's still in you regardless. And when you're practicing monogamy, you just keep those thoughts to yourself. And I feel like in this realm, you can be completely honest.
I feel like I have been very honest with myself, though, in my desires
That's
in a
beautiful.
monogamous relationship. And I feel like I really pride myself on living an honest life. I have just felt more tunnel vision towards someone. And until I meet someone that inspires that, I don't choose to be with anyone. I don't commit.
Do you think that biology or culture has a stronger influence on how we form relationships?
I think that culture plays a huge part in relationships and how we're raised and what we're taught. Watching any movie, like polyamory is really not represented. When I grew up, it was a fact that one day I was going to get married and have children, and that was it. There's no other alternative. And then when you get older and you're dating and it doesn't go the way that it does in the movies, and it's just one failed relationship after the next, you start to think outside the box a little bit.
Yo, Naya, she don't listen at all, and she's so sure of the life she's living. It's almost like she's trying to convince herself more than she's trying to convince the audience. But this lady right here that is talking, I want you to pay attention to what kind of poly relationship she is in, which I just don't, which made me like, hold up, wait a minute. People are just making up things.
And also, I feel like traveling to other cultures and seeing just how other cultures view relationships, and not even relationships, just behavior in general, you start to realize how much of your behavior is a construct of society, and you're just drinking the Kool-Aid of what you've learned as a kid.
So if you were able to meet someone that did meet your needs in all of those ways, just one person, would you then?
And what she just said don't make no damn sense. She said your behavior is a construct of society, and you're just drinking the Kool-Aid. So when you be doing the same thing, if you go to another culture, you just go over there and drink their Kool-Aid. So what's the problem? Just stay where you at and drink your Kool-Aid then. You're not escaping anything. You're trading one social construct for another one.
Decide to be monogamous with that person, or would you still feel the need to continue?
I actually could. I have been monogamous in the past. I could be with the right person. I just don't think that person actually exists.
I feel like it's almost unfair to put the pressure on one person to make me fully happy.
I don't think we have to as a monogamous person. I don't go into relationships thinking that person has to fulfill everything. I don't. I rely on myself. I have a relationship with myself.
Absolutely.
And I love strangers, and
That feels like a compromise. What you just mentioned, it sounds like a compromise, saying like, I can't find anyone, so I'm going to compromise and be polygamous.
I'm solo poly specifically, which means that I'm my own primary partner. So I come first, and anyone I date is secondary to me. And I had to do that because I was just getting burned relationship after relationship. And I feel like I'm at a place where I can't give all of myself to somebody anymore.
So what does that look like?
Y'all see what I'm saying now? What does that even mean? I'm solo poly. She's in a relationship with herself. So she's saying that even if she gets with one person, she just got one partner, she's still poly in her mind because she's with herself first. She comes first. I think that just sounds like selfishness, but I don't know. What do I know?
What you're describing.
It basically means that I'm single and dating, if you want to look at it like that. But I'm not looking to get married. I personally don't want children, so that's not a goal. And I feel like when you're dating too, that's always the first thing people ask. Like, do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? And when you say no, people automatically assume you're a slut and that you just want to sleep around. And it's not like that
at all.
And
that is not. Who believes that? People just be making up and saying things. And then she says, oh, I feel like that's the first thing people ask. Of course they ask that, because if people are out here dating with attention and they want to have a family, you should ask that. So I don't waste my time.
it really is about the person too, you know, and I do think that people come with different things that they can offer you, and different people satisfy different needs in your life. And friendships are not, you know.
So you're dating non-exclusively.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah, I find it really interesting in what you were saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. It sounded like you were saying that you used to date other people to fulfill your needs.
I used to be monogamous, and I either was cheated on in every single relationship, or the guy was opposite, like so jealous, so monogamous, and so jealous where if I even mentioned another guy's name, they'd have a mental breakdown, you know? And I was just like, I don't want any of this anymore. I also am sick of that, you know, the negative feedback loop you get in your head where you're like, what's he doing right now? Why isn't he texted? What's happening right now? Like, I never want to feel that way ever again.
Sounds like protection.
Yeah.
Like
Major
you're trying to
protection.
And I love that.
Question for you ladies on the monogamy side specifically. If monogamy were truly natural, why do so many people struggle to stay faithful?
In my life experience, I'm 38 years young, Indian Americans. I have both cultures coming at me. So in my life experience, I found that it's the men who have difficulty staying loyal and being monogamous. I've always been loyal and committed, even because and my problem is I fall in love with just one kiss, but I won't even let a guy kiss me unless I know him, I trust him. You mentioned asexuality earlier. I've just learned through life I'm actually asexual, but within asexuality, there's something called demisexual. I've learned in the past 2 years that's what I am. A demisexual in any culture, they need to have an intellectual and emotional connection with a man, or whatever, whomever.
Also, I don't know why she said it's the man. You can actually look it up, and they've done studies on it, and you know, of course, it's people that are willing to be honest and say that they were unfaithful, but men and women cheat around about the same rate. So, and cheating, I don't think has anything to do with necessarily. Well, of course, it's going to occur more so in monogamous relationships, but it's so many different things that go on in a relationship that make people step out, insecurities and sex addictions. It's so many different reasons why that happened, but that doesn't mean that being monogamous is unnatural.
Before they can let anything physical happen. And so that's me, but I've also realized that's not easy. It's not easy for me to find a man who will take the time to get to know me and earn my trust and establish that intellectual and emotional connection before leaving or ghosting me because he's not getting anything
To your
from me.
question, like, why do men like?
My question is, if monogamy were truly natural, why do so many people struggle to stay faithful? She just mentioned that she finds it's only men, but that's not true.
Of men are faithful, and in today's society, it's just a lot easier to be tempted or whatnot, and it's really up to the person to do so or not. I do believe that when it comes to cheating, it has nothing to do with it might not even be a sexual thing. It might just be there's a lack of communication in the relationship, or that person is something else is going on in that relationship, and that person that cheated, that they need to take care of. Like, they need to go to therapy and figure it out. But they're coming out in that way. They're using cheating instead of dealing with their issues.
And a lack of coping.
Yeah, a lack of coping. And today,
And I think that shows people are monogamous anyway, because a person could just switch to go poly. Most people, they don't want to be with that other person, but they're going through a weak point in their life and they choose to step out of the relationship. Also, I did want to say that though, even when you think about people that practice polygamy in cultures and places where polygamy is pushed, only 3 to 5% of people actually participate in it. So even in places where it's their culture, and I remember even talking to this Muslim gentleman before, and we were on Clubhouse, and of course you had a lot of Americans in there, and they were talking about poly and what it is, and their idea of what poly is, according to this Muslim gentleman in the country where he comes from. He said, what y'all talk about in America, and y'all talking about, oh, this is poly. He said, y'all are totally incorrect. That is not what poly is. it seems like a lot of you men just want multiple women in your bedroom, right? And then he went on to say that even in his country, he said a lot of guys, he said a lot of us don't even want multiple women. So even where they push poly and it is accepted, it is a part of their culture, 3 to 5% participate. That tells you that monogamy is more natural. That alone. That more people are choosing monogamy over polygamy. In America, it's hard to gauge because polygamy is technically is not legal. You see what I'm saying? But where it's legal and accepted, and one could say push, they're not all participating in it.
Hey, like I said, there's more temptation. There's social media. There's more out there, and it's easier to just swipe right or left. I mean,
I think also it's a lot of unhealed trauma that people are dealing with, because again, it's not only just men, I also know some women as well. And so I think if you're not really truly happy with yourself, they pour onto you these traumas, and it's like, it's not hard to be faithful. It's really not. But I think it's something within them that they're dealing with.
Hurt people.
Absolutely.
I also think I think we kind of hear it here is that we think that another person is going to alleviate us. And so I think cheating can come from, I need to get something else to alleviate me rather than sit with myself or face the person that I'm feeling absent from or something's missing, whatever it is. So I think it's just, as a culture, that's what's influencing us to go get something else to, numb us in the moment.
What about people who just, they're just attracted to people? So a woman is on a flight, she sees a guy, he's really handsome, he's sparking up something that's never really been sparked up before. And it's not about an insecurity, it's just loving that exploration or the temptation of just doing something different or having fun or whatever that might be.
I guess it's then don't be in a monogamous relationship. I think we know ourselves to a degree, or I think that's the uncomfortable, but also, the honorable part, the privilege of being with someone, that you would have to go to them and be like, I saw someone on this flight, or I just saw someone and I'm feeling something,
Why can't a monogamous relationship be fun?
I feel like on both sides there's unhealed versions of people, and if you're in a poly dynamic because you feel a void and you're filling that void, then you're obviously not doing this right.
Shout out to Naya back up with the 2 a.m. pancakes. I don't think people realize how enjoyable pancakes are at 2 in the morning. I'm telling you. That take me back when I was young, man. Coming home from the club, man, like some pancakes or like some hash browns.
If you're fully happy, you're happy where you're at, and you want to add on to that experience, then it's a healthy way of doing it. Everyone's honest, everybody's having a good time, and everyone's feelings are saved because you're not feeling the void. You're just adding on to, you're just healed, and you're excited to share that healed version of yourself with others and share love and get it back.
And the next prompt is, polyamorous relationships face more trust issues than monogamous ones.
What is it? Trust issues?
I say no, because polyamory really requires you to look at yourself. First of all, jealousy is it's natural, right? But when you're dealing with jealousy, just my take, when I was polyamorous, when I was monogamous, I couldn't really express my jealousy, because it's like, I don't want to look insecure, or maybe I just have to be the good wife, I'm married. And this is a position that many of women desire to get to and can't, right? So because I'm in this position, I need to deal with my jealousy. I need to deal with my fear. I need to deal with the fact that all of this is happening. Whereas in polyamory, I get jealous. I'm able to sit down with my loving partner and I'm like, hey, I'm feeling jealous about this. Are we able to work through this? Hey, I'm feeling insecure about something you did earlier. Can we walk through this journey together? Because one, it builds a stronger bond at the end of it. And then it also gives me a chance to really do the work. One thing that I realized, I was really stagnant with doing the work when I was monogamous because I wasn't I didn't have anyone to work through
It
me
wasn't
with.
reciprocated.
Yeah, they weren't working with me through the things I was going through. I was, oh, let me call my girlfriends and let me just vent, girl. I just got to
Right.
vent instead of work through these things with my partner. Emotional intelligence ties into that, but also vulnerability that you tap into when you have a partner that holds space for that.
Like with me, I went into polyamory because I was in a very healthy, happy relationship with my husband of 10 years, but I also love women. And so when you're happy, you're doing life, but then there's a part of me that was missing. That female connection, that female touch is completely different than.
Oh, I want to tell y'all too. These two people right here, they're in relationship. They are both married. Yeah, it's them two. They're both married to men, right? They have husbands, and then they're in a relationship together. And I believe this one doesn't have sex with her husband. I think this one may. I'll just play it. But yeah, they're on here. They're together.
Than a man. And because me and my husband have had a very successful, awesome life together, and we're also BDSM educators and intimacy coaches, we've been exposed to a lot of healthy representations of these different dynamics, that it opened up the conversation of like, okay, well, I will never touch you like a woman. I'm never going to be a woman. So let's venture into this. And I want you to be happy. I don't want you to ever miss,
But
So
you already were happy.
yes, but I still love women. And I was in it. Why, why
Deny yourself.
deny myself?
Are you
that
still
side?
with your husband then?
So in that
So I've
sense,
been married for 10 years and I've
Okay.
been with her for 2 years.
Okay, so in a sense, do you feel, this is for all of you ladies, is it okay to want more things and just restrain from it? Just have restraint and say, I know I want this and this will make me even happier, but I'm just going to choose not to.
If your partner's willing and you have that communication, you have your boundaries, why are you limiting yourself in this life that we only live once? Why limit yourself to those emotions? Why shove that deep down when you know this part will bring me happiness, will bring me joy, will fulfill whatever I have in here that I haven't been able to do that? If your partner's saying, I got you, just be honest with me, just talk to me about it, let's work through it together, why would you do that?
If you're even saying that it was going to make me happier, why hold back?
Also, can I say,
Why deny yourself?
I practice restraint every day. Otherwise, I'd be sleeping with my roommates, which I've done before, and it has
That
not
part
ended
too.
well. Right?
and that's
I
a-
practice
that's-
a lot of restraint.
That's a great point, because
Now that's crazy that she said that, because earlier she was so upset because she said people may assume that she's just sleeping with everyone. But as the conversation continues, ma'am, it sounds like you were sleeping with everyone. You're just sleeping with your roommates. You know what is so funny about human beings? You can talk to them and they can say certain things and they think that in the future, you just forgot about everything they said in the past. She has exhibited behavior and then is confused how people may perceive her. If anybody was here earlier, or if you rewind it, if you want to, that's just insane to me. The more she talks, the more she just tells on herself. Insane. But my answer to the question is, I think everybody deals with jealousy equally. I think they both have the same jealousy. One side is dealing with it with one partner, and the other side is dealing with it with multiple partners. Whether you're able to talk about your jealousy or not talk about your jealousy doesn't erase or add to the fact that both sides are dealing with jealousy. Just one side talks about it with their partner, the other side might vent to a friend, or they might just keep it to themselves and deal with it. Some people can self-regulate. Everybody don't need to talk about their jealous. I've felt jealousy before. It's very rare, and that's another thing. It's like if jealousy is a constant in your relationship, that's an internal issue, and you might need to go sit down and talk to a professional about it. Because I have to say, jealousy is not an emotion that I feel on a day-to-day basis. It's just not. I don't even know where it would come across in the day-to-day of running your life, running your household. You're married, you're getting up, you're working, you drop the kids off at school, you pick the kids up from school. I mean, you're doing homework, you make them dinner. Your plate is so full. I mean, what are you jealous of? I don't even think that's something that should come around all the time. Even if my wife, even if your partner is at work, if there's a guy at the job that says, "Oh, you're so beautiful today," I wouldn't know. I didn't hear it because I wasn't there. Right? I just, if jealousy is something you experience on a day-to-day basis, that's a problem. You need to go talk to somebody professional.
I think a lot of people see polyamory and they're like, "Oh, these people just sleep with each other," but that's not. That's
Are
not
you all
even it.
sleeping together?
No. Well,
Not all of you. I do
Just
feel
right
like I don't have, for me, like in a monogamous relationship, it's very rare when I'm jealous, and he's like, we're not jealous. There is no jealousy,
I
like,
love that for you.
because we're in a relationship, we're just together, and there's trust. So if you have trust, there's no jealous. It's very rare, super rare, and to be jealous for me. And
Have you ever been cheated on?
yeah, of course. But I just left, and that was the end of that. And I moved on
But
to
you
the
see,
next
as
guy.
normalized, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Like, that
of
shouldn't
course.
be a
Yeah,
normal
because
thing.
when somebody cheats on you,
She's not making it a normal thing, but you are making it a traumatic. You're carrying around this trauma of being cheated on another person. They processed it, they left the relationship, and they moved on. She's not traumatized by it, so she's not saying like, "Oh, whatever." But see how a person that has been traumatized, especially the lady that says she's in a relationship with herself, to her it was a traumatic experience, and it has shaped her and affected her and how she's going forth in life and the relationships that she's forming. And shout out to Mr. Marcus Banks, says her self-control is weak and she is greedy. And that's why I think it's okay, because I understood what the lady was saying when she said, well, you got one life to live. Be honest and open about what you want. And I get that and I understand that. But at some point, you have to recognize, are you being greedy? And if you're just getting everything that you can get in life, that goes back to when they said, can you be fully committed to multiple people? And I just don't think you are. You're just going after everything that you want. And I don't think you're fully committing to anybody. I think you're fully committing to yourself and your wants is what I think you're doing. Shout out to Mr. Marcus Banks. Brother, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, brother, for the love, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. Mr. Diabolical, this is for your hard work and subject matter. Much respect to you always, my brother, man. I appreciate you, brother, man. So much love I have for you, brother. I appreciate you.
that person
Is
is
unhealed.
not dealing with their own issues and they're not really ready for a relationship.
Yeah.
So you move on. But I've been very happy in my relationship where it's faithful. We're both faithful. During the time we're together, there's no jealousy. There doesn't need to be no jealousy. There's trust, and it's a healthy relationship. So it's not necessary. I do feel that, so studies have been done in Stanford University and Harvard, and it shows that people in polygamy relations are having more stress, having more heart attacks, higher risk of heart attacks, more stress, more anxiety, and more jealousy. So that's actual research. So I do feel personally that there is someone struggling even more so. Like your decision was that you wanted to have a female experience, somebody else, right? Because your husband wasn't. While he wants you to be happy, he may also internally also be, he's sharing you. So he may not feel the way you feel about it.
But we're very open about it. And
but
there's jealousy on both sides.
Do you have an open marriage?
It can be. He doesn't choose to, but yes, it's open.
Also, can I just say, I do
Open for
not.
discussion if he's.
And that's another thing where she says, listen to how she hesitated and how she said that. She doesn't sound sure at all.
He doesn't choose to, but yes, it's open.
Also, can I just.
He may also internally also be he's sharing you. So he may not feel the way you feel about it.
But we're very open about it.
Yeah,
And
but
there's jealousy on both sides.
Do you have an open marriage?
But how many times in a relationship where people think that they're getting honesty and they're not, and that other person could be doing something because they don't maybe respect themselves enough and just going along with their partner, but there may be some internal jealousy, trauma, pain, resentment, things that they're holding in because they don't want to lose you, and they're just going along with it. People do that all the time. So this they feel like they're getting the full honesty of their partners, and I just don't think that's always true. I remember they had this man in this I remember this young lady, she was in a relationship with a guy, and this guy had her sleeping with other women and doing threesomes, right? And the whole time she didn't want to do it. She didn't. In his brain, he felt like that because she was going along with it, but that lady didn't. She got out of that relationship. She talked about it afterwards, man. She did not want to do that stuff. So just because your partner is going along with something, it may seem like they're okay with it, but I don't think that's always the case.
It can be. He doesn't choose to, but yes, it's open.
Also, can I just say, I do
Open for
not.
discussion. If he wants to go there, we can obviously talk about it. And that's us tapping into our and doing the work. And it's like, why am I gonna deny you?
Yeah.
You know.
So then why stay married? I'm just curious.
Well, for me, I value marriage, and I'll be married to all my husbands and all my wives for the rest of my life, however many I'm afforded, because I value witnessing my partner's growth. I value witnessing you go through the changes of life. I value witnessing you grow, me contributing to your development spiritually, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. All of these deposits that I make into you, this is something that I want to witness and I want to be a part of. It's so freeing to be able to pull up to my partners and bust down on all of the emotions and be held. Right. I remember when I met a gentleman once, it was completely platonic, if that's what you want to go, Plato, right? But I cried with my current partner about him when he left, and he held space for me so beautifully. Just like I'm pausing and crying in the store. He's taking me out to eat. I'm just crying and crying. And he's like, come on, did you talk to him? Like that was the thing for me. It's like, yeah.
Look at this lady's face. Ooh, couldn't be me. I could not imagine. Like, why is she crying? Like, why would you be crying like that with you with your husband or whatever partner she's with? You crying and breaking down in the store because somebody left? What the hell? This lady just want a bunch of people in her life. That's all it is. Like Mr. Marcus said, man, is greedy. Some people just want a bunch of people in their lives, I guess. I don't get it. I don't get it. She just yeah, Fry from she married. She's married, but she's got multiple people. And I don't get it. I don't know how could you truly be having all this commitment and you're married if you got kids. Like, come on, bro. Ain't nobody gonna fool me. It ain't that much time in the world, and human beings are complex and relationships take work. Ain't no way you working and thriving and maintaining all those relationships. It's not fully committed. It's not. It can't be. I don't see it. You don't fully know that person. They don't fully know you. And y'all got this one little thing that y'all probably got in common, and that's what y'all hone in on to, and you think it's a real relationship. And I think that it's not.
Yeah, this is freedom. This is me being able to express that I miss him, I like him, I appreciate him. He contributed something positive to my journey that changed me forever. And I can't be dishonest with that. And thank you for seeing me still and still loving me to keep going on this journey. 13 years.
I feel like just because I'm married and I have a girlfriend doesn't mean that I'm half committed. I'm fully committed. So being married, it's completely it's completely okay and still have a girlfriend.
I have a question along the lines of what you just mentioned. Sorry. So, how do breakups work in general? If one person wants to leave, how does the whole relationship end? How exactly do breakups work? Any of you can.
I don't believe in throwing humans away.
Well,
I
breakups
believe-
do happen.
Yeah, but
So
that's,
how do
we
they
work
happen?
through that.
I think it's a communication piece too, right? Because it's such a broad spectrum because there's different types of polyamory. There's different types of your triads. You've got their V shape. So you've got it to where like she might have a partner that, or like for instance, her husband. I'm a lesbian. I don't have sex with him, right? But I love him. I respect him. I give him everything in the world. I love him. I'd give him the shirt off my back if it would fit, But I think that every dynamic is a little different. It's just that communication piece. Like,
She means she loves him so much that she pleases his wife for him so that he doesn't have to do it.
could be, well, this kind of went to the shitter and this person's no longer in our lives, or it could be, let's have a conversation about it. These are how do we handle conflict resolution? Like, what is the cause
Hopefully
of
not
said
over
breakup?
a text.
You know what I mean? Definitely not over a text. We're grown. We're going to communicate.
So you said
that
you
kind of
don't.
stuff.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So you said you don't believe in throwing humans away. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's true. Anyone
Okay.
I've ever loved, I'll always love.
So you still with your ex-husband?
Yes, we're still married. I'm still legally married. We're
You're still
Oh
married.
yeah, absolutely.
So is your
Yeah,
husband the husband you have now, right? You're married.
Yes.
So you said that you were married, but you were still in love. You kind of had this thing for your for your friend, a friend that you had, a guy.
I don't think I had the thing. I received the thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry. Yeah. The energy you want. Yeah. So you desire this relationship with your friend.
Yes.
So then, did you at that point? Did your husband at that point become more like your best friend, non-sexual relationship, and then now your friend was more like the intimacy, sexual relationship? It kind of like diverted.
That's a good question. No, I wouldn't say so. I'm spiritual, so I did our natal charts and to bust things down. Like me and my husband are twin souls, so we're the exact same person. So when we were both trying to pull up and be monogamous, both of us were living inauthentic. So when I opened the door, like, hey, let's just be open, and you approach the women you enjoy, I'll approach the women I enjoy. I'm sorry, men and women. We can have a unified relationship. So no, I never had sex with that person, that partner. He's still a friend of mine, but it just made him feel uncomfortable that he was someone that had eyes for me when he was so glued to monogamy. And I'm opening the door for another way of living that still gets total commitment from me, total loyalty, total everything. I'm going to be honest.
How is that total loyalty? It's not. Are people looking these words up and defining them? Mr. Marcus says, I don't know how that relationship works. She found, she found herself a sucker. She doesn't make sense at all. She don't. And she's all over the place. I mean, she doesn't even know how to fully break down these. So whatever relationship she's saying that she has.
So are you being intimate with your husband still?
Yeah, occasionally.
So you're just not being intimate with your friend?
No, not that friend, because he's a friend, not a partner per se.
Oh,
because
okay.
he's
So
monogamous.
do you consider yourself polygamous in the sense that you have friendships with males, but you're not being intimate with them. However, you're only intimate with your husband.
No, it's a choice for me. I can be intimate with whoever I choose to be intimate with. It's a choice.
Also, real quick, there's a big difference between polyamory and polygamy. Polygamy, everybody's married. Polyamory, you're not married. So that's just a difference in
I'm just
communication.
trying to figure out if you're having if you have multiple relationships with, because you're saying because you're married, but you're having, I guess you could wear the poly in it, but you're saying when you say poly for you specifically, it's spiritual.
So I practice open relating in the sense where, I figure out why each individual has come into my life and what contribution they have so that I can better show up in that dynamic and figure out what my contribution is to them, as well as receive their contribution wholly. If you try to make a heart choice, a womb choice, you're gonna lose the lesson, the experience. God shows you God through other God beings. And so sometimes we miss out on that. This is, if you go Bible, right? You guys come together, and through that, certain things unlock for you when you're partnered versus when you're.
And you see what you're doing. This is why you gotta stay away from people. She's mixing a bunch of religion, a bunch of spirituality, a bunch of zodiac, she has literally combined all these different beliefs into one. The same way she does with her partners and her relationships. She's all over the place. I can't even make sense of anything she says because she can't make any sense out of it. You know what I mean? If you notice when she's asked the question or she's explaining something, if it gets to a point where she can't explain it, she just she'll switch, right? It's kind of like being Christian, right? Any explanation that I have when having a conversation that is surrounding that, I can continue to go back to my belief system, right? With her, it's not like that. She'll be discussing something one way, hit a wall, and she'll go, well, let me go over to Buddhism. If she hits a wall there, she'll go, oh, well, I'm going to switch to Muslim. She hits a wall there, well, let me go back to voodoo. You see what I'm saying? She's just all over the damn, she's all over the place. James says, what the hell? How James, shout out to you, brother. You said, what the hell? How you married and messing with someone else? Ain't that's called adultery? That be crazy. Exactly. But James, she's mixing different beliefs and religions, right? I'm glad you said that, brother, because like even now she'll reference the Bible, where the Bible says you're committing adultery because she left her husband, but she's still legally married to him, and she just still taking on multiple partners and everything. So she says she don't believe in throwing people away, and she's collecting bodies.
You're single, and most people who've been single, when you're single, you don't get the same things, right? When you come together with somebody, you guys actually do the work together, and that like amplifies your journey. So
kind of what you're describing to me sounds like friendships.
Well, they're intimate. They're all intimate, and intimacy is not sexual. You know, intimacy is vulnerability. It's a lot of different things. It could be sexual, and I'm not saying I limit myself by, oh, just my husband I have sex with, you know, because that's not reality. But all my relationships are sustainable, they're ethical, and they're long lasting, upwards of the shortest is 3 years. And there's total commitment there. And so we can call them friends because we started off as friends. I'm not kissing and sleeping with people randomly. Just, I carry myself with a little more than that. But once we start unpacking and unfolding, and I see where you are on your journey, we can contribute to each other's journey. And that's kind of what that is.
So that's like she said, a friendship. If you're not kissing and doing all this other stuff, girl, you just got a bunch of friends, but you so extra. It just got to be something else. But people are extra. You gotta be careful with these extra ass people. It's not sexual. It's friendships can be intimate. Any type of relationship can be intimate, and it doesn't mean sexual or anything like that. She just want to be Polly. Polly want a cracker.
In this world, this realm that you call it, it feels confusing, like listening to you ladies. It sounds confusing, but
it's confusing, baby, because it don't make no sense. And I don't say that disrespectfully. It's confusing because it don't make sense, and they're all over the place. And I'm hearing nothing but trauma from that other side. It don't make no sense. Like even like the butch looking lady, I don't know why she's married. You should just leave your husband and be with this woman. Y'all two should just, because they speak of honesty, but they're not being honest with themselves. Just leave your husband. What's the point of being with this man? And I know what it is. Maybe he take care of you. So financially, you benefit from it. That's all it has to be. Because if y'all that much in love and y'all bumping and grinding, what's the point of being married to men? Just go be with each other. Just be with each other.
do you feel that there's emotional confusion because you're inviting so many people, as you're saying, so many souls, so much into your spirit. Do you feel a lot more tension and confusion and all of that living this way?
I was more confused before when I was trying to be monogamous, honestly, and I was trying to navigate these relationships. I'm like, okay, this is the one. He's my soulmate. Like, it was always like, are you my soulmate? Are you my soulmate? I found my soulmate, you know? So yeah, I was really looking for it. And I feel like I tried really hard. And I did study Kabbalah for 2 years and I was praying to meet my soulmate, right? And then there's, in Kabbalah also, they taught us that a woman's purpose is to direct a man's energy where to go. So, and if you don't have that, and if you don't have that in your life, you're not completely living your purpose. I'm like, okay, I need to live my purpose. But then I was conflicted because I never really wanted to have kids. I'm a teacher, so I have lots of kids in my life. I'm happy on the kid front, right? I don't need kids, but they were all.
She's pissing me off. And I think this is the problem when people, and this is why I have a problem when people keep using the word honest, when the first person you have to be honest with is yourself. For this lady in particular, is it that monogamy wasn't for her, or is it the way you were living your life? You've added confusion to your life. You've admitted that you're the type of person that would sleep with your roommates and things like that. So were you living a life conducive to what you wanted? You want a stable relationship, but did you live your life in a way that was stable that would get you that? And I would venture to say, from what she said so far in this conversation, I don't think she has. And instead of blaming herself and taking accountability and working on herself, she goes, well, I'll switch to poly. And here's the thing. She says she's poly because her first relationship is with herself. So even if she's with one other person, it makes her feel better to say, oh, well, I'm poly.
Also telling me that was also part of my purpose. So I felt like that was confusing, trying to justify my own desires to fit this mold that I'd been told that this is the way. I feel freedom. It's way less confusing. I don't have to ask anyone or depend on anyone except for me.
But you also don't have the vulnerable piece because you said you're single. So you don't have that space within you to even be open for that. Like
I'm not into, I have partners, regular partners in my life, we're just not exclusive. There's no like real, I guess I call them my partners, but we're dating, but I wouldn't be like, this is my boyfriend, you know what I mean? Or this is my girlfriend. Like,
so she got people she's sleeping around with. Okay, cool. That's poly. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes total sense.
I don't know. It's just way less pressure. I just enjoy being able to have experiences with these people. I'd be very, very sad if they.
What'd she say?
You don't have that space within you to even be open for that. Like
I'm not into. I have partners, regular partners in my life. We're just not exclusive. There's no like real. I guess I call them my partners, but. We're dating, but I wouldn't be like, this is my boyfriend, you know what I mean? Or this is my girlfriend. Like, I don't know. It's just way less pressure. I just enjoy being able to.
I want to stop right there. Of course, it's way less pressure. Let's be honest. All of it has to be way less pressure. Let me tell you something. Being married and being with one person and being monogamous is always going to be more pressure, because I don't get to just run and escape my situation and go to another partner. No, I got to sit in that house and I have to work through whatever issue, whatever problem it is, whatever we're going through. I don't get to escape. I don't get to just go to my other partner and dump it off on them. I don't get to just go to some other partner and this person distract me from what's at home. So of course it's less pressure. That don't mean it's better, because what you're practicing is you're good at escaping. And you don't, and this woman just doesn't realize it. You're escaping. So of course it's less pressure. Of course it feels more free. Can you imagine? Of course it feels better. Yeah, you know, you got this one woman and I don't have to give her all of me because, you know, she might not be into what I'm into. And instead of working on that and finding something we're both into, I could just not try and I can just go to another woman that is into what I'm into. But wait, that woman that's into what I'm into, she's not very good at household duties, but you know what? That's okay. No pressure. I'm just gonna run back home to the original partner and she's good at those things. You see what I'm saying? You never have to work on anything with that one person because you can just switch, right? You know what I'm saying? You just switch partners. Uh-oh, wall, switch partners. Uh-oh, other wall, switch partners. Uh-oh, switch partners. That's all you're doing. So of course it's more freeing and it's less pressure. Makes sense. Because you ain't facing anything. It's just like a person escaping accountability. It's more freeing not to take accountability, ain't it? So we should all do that if we're going by their logic. Shout out to James says, is this the new way? Say that they a hoe? That's what it sounds like to me. I appreciate you, brother. Mark says you hit the nail in the coffin. She is escaping. Very true indeed. Risky. Yeah, they're all escaping. That's what they're all doing. Because when you're with somebody, you never know them. And like we discussed earlier, people change every 10 years. And some people, I would venture to say, change every 5 years with the way life is going now. It's so fast paced, the cost of living going up, and people taking in so much information because everybody's on the internet. I think people are changing even more often. So you never truly get to know that one person. It takes work and effort and paying attention. And there's no way you're paying that much attention to your partner if your attention is divided amongst all these people. And to prove that point, you know when else you also experience that? When you have children. So when people, like, you know how people say, oh, let's have kids, and they think it's going to bring them together. It doesn't. Kids are going to split you apart because that attention, that effort now has to go towards those children. And if people experience that when having their own kids, you know damn well they're experiencing that when you have this one main partner that when you decide to take on other partners. It's no way you can give that other person your full attention, splitting yourself up amongst that many people. There is no full commitment existing in any situation like that.
To have experiences with these people. I'd be very sad if they stopped wanting to hang out with me. It would definitely break my heart. I'd cry.
It seems like you've changed, not so much like that the label has afforded you it. Do you think that like all monogamous people are just trying to get married and find the soulmate always?
Well, you know, like Facebook, right? When Facebook first came out and you had your Facebook status of like single, right? And if a guy
you seem
said
complicated.
Yeah, like, yeah, right. Or that, but if a guy wouldn't say that they were your partner on Facebook, it hurt really bad. And I was like, I'm not going to go out with any person that refuses to acknowledge our relationship. I'm not going to be a secret. And now I'm kind of like, whatever.
So just real quick, I would say the best way for people who aren't polyamorous, it's kind of hard for you to get into our headspace and be like, that's understanding. For me, to explain, I would say your radio stations, right? You have your favorite, I'm dating myself. You guys were all probably around the same age. Dating yourselves, when you had your favorite radio station programmed, you knew which ones to go to. You know, this is going to be a banger, but I also love this station. It just, you know, I love this music just as much as I love this music. It doesn't mean that you love one more than the other. You just love them a little differently. Like my relationship with rock and my relationship with R&B are two different relationships, and I love them completely different. How I jam out to them are completely different. How I receive them and how I express them are really different. It's the same as your different relationships in poly.
Oh, my bad. It did a little stuttering. Let me rewind it a little bit. I don't know why I did that. I don't know if that was on my end. Might have been. Hold on.
more than the other. You just love them a little differently. Like my relationship with rock and my relationship with R&B are two different relationships, and I love them completely different. How I jam out to them are completely different. How I receive them and how I express them are really different. It's the same as your different relationships in polyamory. That's kind of like a way to wrap your head around it. When you're not in it, it's hard to say, oh, I can understand that, when you really can't. So maybe
to
that
listen to
And
more
vice
music.
versa.
Yeah.
It's vice versa. There's unhealed people everywhere.
Polyamory keeps physical intimacy more exciting than monogamy.
Oh.
Okay. You're not sure? Pick
I agree with both.
Oh, pick one.
Yeah, I know.
I know you don't.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of, but if I had to
Okay,
level
okay.
down, it's no.
So I am 38 years young, Indian American female. I have never had intercourse. So, and that's a more complicated, in-depth thing, but I just want to, on the surface, just say, from my life, in my humble opinion, individuals of any culture who practice promiscuity, I think it's just gross. Like just bodily fluids being exchanged, emotions being hurt, STDs, STIs, UTIs. I think it's just gross. And I just, but to your point, like it's hard for us to understand you, and it's hard for you guys to understand us. And neither is right nor wrong. It's just different.
Okay. Yeah, I could agree. Like, I think, like, for me, I don't even eat after someone who's double dipping. I don't even drink after people, so that's how I feel things.
And I agree with that lady. And also, even if it's not just sex and bodily fluids, I think emotionally and mentally sharing parts of myself with other people, I think that's gross as well. And that's why I said I don't think it's true intimacy or being fully committed, because I have to be honest, there's what makes me and my wife's relationship special is she gets me the way no one else will ever get me. And I think it would be disgusting to share that with other people the same way. If she did that, I would think that that is disgusting. So not even just on a physical level, that's disgusting, but even emotionally and mentally, I think that is disgusting as well. I think it's all just nasty.
But also, I feel like, I wanted to know, do you feel if you did have a safe relationship that you would probably be monogamous?
Like I said, it depends on the person.
I gotta take a bathroom break. I'll be right back.
I just have not. I tried to meet that person for my entire life, and I have found that it does not exist. It's a myth. I think the Prince Charming myth of you're going to find the perfect husband that'll meet all your needs and be understanding for everything, it's just impossible. You're asking for way too much of one person, and it just isn't real. Like, we believe this thing because we've been told this thing exists, but it's not real. It's not real.
When I hear you, though, it makes me really sad because, like you said, that it sounds to me like you desire a monogamous relationship. You just haven't found one. And then you just compromising and just like, let me just date whoever I can. And then also you even said the people that I'm dating, I hope they don't stop talking to me. Meaning like you desire that kind of commitment. You want them like you do want, because if they leave, you're going to be sad. So you're wanting that commitment from them, but then at the same time, you're not really in a monogamous relationship with them. So they will probably.
That happens in monogamy too.
But I mean, like she's saying, like she has all these relationships, but then she wants to continue keeping them. But
You're not entirely wrong. I just feel like I changed. My beliefs and what I want completely changed because I just accepted reality.
yeah, you accepted the fact that you're probably not going to find that one person that's going to commit to you. So you decided to just be open about it.
And, with your partners, with people, like we never know when anything's going to happen, right? Someone could die the next day. It's the same thing. It's just, I love these people. I don't want to see them go
So my
away.
question is, if you did find someone that wants to commit to you and wants to be with you monogamously and is like falls over heels with you, would you then become monogamous?
Well, I thought I found that person, but they were so jealous. It made me, that's actually was my final push. When I was in that jealous relationship and this guy would fall apart anytime.
But if it's somebody that's not jealous and you are you open to that?
Again, you're talking about this magical Prince Charming person that doesn't exist.
So I have owned my own play club for the last 3 years, and
What's a play
I
club?
have you go in there and you have sex. You can have sex. You practice BDSM. I'm a BDSM educator and entertainer, and I also coach people in intimacy and all that stuff. So it's a club where adults come in and you come with your partner. No matter if you're practicing monogamy or polyamory, you can come in there and explore by yourself, with a group, or whatever you choose yourself. It's whatever you're okay with and whatever you're going in there to do. You don't have to be polyamory to be in a public space to have sex with your partner or to learn sexuality. And so I just want, the reason why I couldn't, because I have seen polyamory groups come in, monogamy, like monogamous couples come in and explore, have amazing, awesome, crazy sex. I've seen it all up and down, and I don't think that you need to, it doesn't matter if you're with one person or with 2 or 3 or 5.
I want to piggyback off of that. I think that it's your partner, that you and your partner's connection that brings that excitement, and less about how many partners to have that excitement. Because I've had, even in polyamory, you can practice conscious monogamy, which means, like, for instance, we're in a V-shaped polydynamic. Me and her husband don't have sex. Her and I do, and she's the V anchor between us both, right? So, even in that sense, I date her. I don't have 5, 6, 7 other girlfriends currently, or anything like that. Now, I think that it's a big misconception that you have all these partners and that you're having sex with all these people, and that you need all that to have that excitement. I was married before I had my ex-wife 15 years before that. You know what I mean? I think that when you're emotionally connected to and spiritually connected to an individual, intimacy is just going to blossom beautifully, regardless if you're a polyamorous or monogamous. It's that specific partner.
Yeah, maybe you become more free to explore.
Yes. Yes.
Does STDs or anything ever become like a concern?
Everywhere, all the time,
Yeah.
every day, always.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, obviously, if you're going into a public place that is, giving you the space to be free and explore and have sex, it's your choice. If to check, to have, that's just because you're polyamory doesn't mean we're being careless about who's entering our body or how we swapping fluids and stuff. And even like everybody should be checking and protecting themselves.
It's important.
Even in public spaces, you can still be protected and not catch anything. You just gotta obviously be grown and mature and healed.
On this side, ladies, question: how do you think long-term monogamous couples keep intimacy alive?
I believe there's a strong ethical, intellectual, and emotional connection that has served as a foundation. That's what enables that relationship to continue for a long time.
Well, not continue. I'm talking about keeping it exciting. That's specifically what I'm talking about.
Ways.
That's because, and I'm contrasting it to the ladies on this side because someone would say this is more fun. So how do you keep that fun in a monogamous
I feel like
relationship?
everybody's different. So like everybody's love language is different, right? It could be in different ways. It could be verbally, it could be cuddling, it could be just so many different ways. But to keep it going, it's always, I feel like dates are really important. When you're with somebody for a long time, to always continue dating and treating each other like you just like you're just getting to know each other, even though you already know each other. But I think dating is important, to take each other out on dates, go out and then come back home, give each other kisses and so forth. But I feel like that's one of the best ways to keep it going, is going on a date every weekend or every so often.
I would hope that you don't even have to like leave your home. It's not about having to go on dates.
No, yeah, because you
think-
could do it at home.
But I think also, they say it's like you always have to be choosing each other.
Right.
And even what you spoke about, like the depth of communication that you have with your partner and that you've experienced in polyamorous relationships, I think having that in monogamy and really being present for each other and constantly curious. And for me, it's more about emotional connection. So offering that sort of support, I think that breeds a lot of intimacy that's ongoing. So it's like always wanting to go deeper with someone and to remember that even though you're together, you have to constantly be knowing them better, So I think to me, like love is a series of conversations. So I think the more that you talk, the more passion and intimacy.
I also would say, like, your mental has to be good, you know, like even within yourself. I feel like if you are still mentally healthy, you're going to be your best self for your partner. And I always believe, like, never lose your inner child. And so I feel that with, you know, your partner as well, you never want to lose that. You know, keep pursuing, keep being creative in date nights, and even at home, let's cook together. Because even if you have kids, your kids are going to leave you, you know, so it's still just going to be you two. So you got to keep that spark alive. But I feel like as long as you still are doing good with, you know, making sure you're good mentally, mental health is, you know, so important. I feel like if you're your best self, you're going to be your best self for your partner as well.
Thank you. And to contrast that on this side, can having multiple partners actually make intimacy feel less special or meaningful? And even in your situation, you're not sleeping with her husband, but you know she is. So does it make intimacy feel less special or less meaningful knowing that it's not that sacred relationship between only two people?
I feel like your question, it's almost like you need to flip it on its head and make it a turn on. So it's like, for an example, you know, if I'm feeling a little bit jealous about one of my partners because I know there's something has just happened, you know, it's interesting how you can flip that jealousy on its head and actually make it something that you're like, well, I have him now. You know, he's mine now.
Very possessive, though.
And it's, I don't know, I find it to be hot at times.
Fun and hot.
Yeah.
So you flip it over.
Sounds like a kink.
Yeah.
Do you get jealous when she's with her husband? I mean, because sometimes
I'm
I
Latina.
feel-
I get jealous a lot over different things. That's just not one of them. I'm just being honest.
Other
Even
things.
when we met, actually, I was married too with my ex-wife as well. And so when we first got together, it's a lot simpler with all parties involved, knowing that, okay, I have a
Okay, I misspoke earlier. She was married to a woman, not a man. I thought she was married to a man too, but she was married to a woman.
partner I'm going home to, you have a partner you're going home to. So it's a different dynamic versus, you know, it's a partner. And then we split our own ways for, you know, other infidelities and that kind of stuff we won't get into. And I think that it's all about communication.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. She said they split because of other infidelities. I thought with polygamy that wasn't a thing. Seems like it was.
You know what I mean? I think being a lesbian, not around men, it was something I had to learn through. And also like living, we live together full time. We live life together full time. Those dates we do every Tuesday. The three of us go out all together, and we specifically save Tuesdays to spend time together, to be intentional, and to also generate that. So even though me and him, we're not compatible in a traditional sexual aspect, so many other ways we are, and we share our intimacy in a little different way. So I wouldn't even say that the right word is jealousy. I would say I've adapted as an individual to grow and be like, okay, this is how I can show love, express love. This is how I'm willing to accept and receive love. And he knows that my sign is do not enter. And we can do all kinds of things in different capacities. And even then, like, he gives us the space to have our own.
Well, she is a lesbian, so for the man, the sign would always be do not enter.
Time. We give each other spaces to have our own time if we need that. Outside of that, we typically do life together.
She's getting all the love, huh?
She is.
Yeah, that sounds like she has.
The next prompt is, children are better raised in monogamous households.
Okay.
My parents were monogamous and they were terrible.
The
You're on the
reason
fence.
why I'm saying yes is because while in polygamous relationships, they have they basically the mother can go and then the child can have a babysitter, a second mom, or a second dad, or whatever, which is great. But the reason why I'm choosing monogamy is because there's also like breakups, and that could happen in any relationship. However, I feel like it's harder on them, especially after watching like Sister Wives and they all broke up. It is really hard, and you know there was a situation that occurred with one of the sons because he couldn't handle. It was just like a lot of. I just seeing everything go down. I just feel like I do feel that monogamy is best. You have your dad, your mom. It's you know straight. You know maybe some people don't even have a dad or a mom, but I do feel monogamous relationships is the best.
50% of all marriages end in divorce.
I do agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Even then, they
That trauma.
It's so
Yeah.
traumatizing.
Yeah.
And there's also a website for married men that are seeking arrangements. outside of marriage. So
I've heard of
and it's
that
about
too.
billions of
I think
married
that
women.
I think in having a child, see that I'm a mother. My daughter's 9 years old. When my ex-wife and I separated, she was 7. So she's seen our inception. She's seen it all, even down to like, if does anybody have kids or anything like that, or even have or children of whatever. When you're dealing with that, I take a spot. Even talking to my daughter, like I told her, I was like, baby, I'm so sorry that you have to go back and forth between one house and another. You were raised in one house. You were everything traditional, and even then, like even if it doesn't matter. When we split, I told her, I was like, I'm sorry to go back and forth. My 7-year-old said, Mom, everything is as it has to be. Like, I just want you happy. I just want life to be happy. 7, nothing pre in her head, nothing. None of that. It helps them to show A, commitment, B, communication, and C, that you will be okay after this breakup or whatever happens. I think that in movies, we see a lot of unions. We don't see a lot of the aftermath, right? Us as humans, how do we grow when we're no longer with this person? Who we are when we're no longer with this person? The journey that we dive into here, that what do I need to heal inside here before even thinking about another person? I think your children see that. They're able to do better communication-wise. Not only that, I think it's also different on the type of polyamory that you are, right? If you have 10 partners and you're introducing your children to 10 partners, that's different. I'm not judging anybody. It all depends on the level of that commitment, right? No one, just like when you guys are dating, when you have kids, you're not going to introduce your kids to their first date with your man, right? It's going to be later when this is serious. You're going to be in my life. It's the same over here. It's later when it's serious. Then okay, I'm going to introduce her. Like we went to Universal as the first day with my daughter. Like, I think it's all about having that open communication. I want my daughter to come to me. I don't want her to feel shame about anything. I'll talk to her on the phone. What are some boys that you're looking at right now at school? I love Carlos, but AB likes me and la 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 la. I'm like, well, how's that letter in your class? Are you having A, B, C? That's what I print it back to that, whatever the case may be. But I think it's just they can see communication and they can also see different types of relationships. All growing up, none of us here has ever watched a Disney movie where there was more than one partner or anything of that aspect.
So who else here has children?
I do.
Oh no. I think kids just do well when they have responsible parents that can teach them properly the things that you would need in life, communicating, being honest and accountability, responsibility, life skills, and things like that. I think it's I think there are children that will grow up and be okay if they're in a poly family, or in the same way with kids if they're in a healthy monogamous family structure. I think they will be okay. I don't really too much have an experience on that. I would have to see research on that, how kids are processing when they're in these certain growing up in these households where the parents are um doing poly. One thing that to me stands out is just like in monogamous relationships that are unhealthy. Some you have to be careful with that. Children will look at commitment and things like that a different way. Just like what the lady was saying, the lady who thinks that there's no such thing as this Prince Charming guy that's going to love you and it be a healthy relationship. She said, well, marriages, 50% end in divorce. Kids coming from those situations may have issues when it comes to commitment, but it may be the same thing with poly, right? If you may struggle with committing to one person if you grow up seeing that your parent has all these multiple partners and stuff. So I don't know. I think that if you have responsible, good parents, the kid will be okay. I don't think it really matters if it's a single mother household. I don't even want to go down that road, but I think just having a good parent, you'll have good results with your children.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about how, and you do too, explain a little bit about how you would explain a polyamorous relationship to your child and just along the lines of what we were sharing?
Yes, so I actually have a 17-year-old daughter. So she's very much, Mom, tell me what's going on here. And so for her, I have expressed that it's really a journey of me meeting myself through other individuals and giving them an opportunity to show me more of myself. I'm very village minded. I'm very community oriented. And I love the fact that my children have different women, sisters of mine, different men, masculine. My son, he's 6 next month. I love that they have different masculine energies that contribute to their nourishment, their mind, their spiritual development, sports, some things your daughters can't have conversations with you about. Although I'm very open. My daughter came out when she was 13 and like, oh God, I've been hiding it from my dad forever. I'm so glad I could tell you. And I'm like, yeah, be who you are, but there's also some conversations that she won't share with me. So it's good that I have sisters that are like, hey, it's our time. Let's go out and hang out. And then they'll tell me a little bit, not too much, but if Lauren catches that, not too much.
When you say sisters, you're talking about
women that are my partners. So I have 3 masculine partners and 2 feminine partners. And 2 are out of state. We're spread out a little bit, but we still make time for each other.
So how do you explain that to, I don't know at what point you started these relationships. You said she's 17, but your son is 6. So how do you explain your lifestyle to your children? How do you explain that to them?
Yeah, it's just, hey, I'm journeying. I'm meeting different versions of myself. And I explain the spiritual component because I'm very, very spiritually inclined. And I love that my children, they can blend human relating with also spiritual relating, and why the connections are much deeper than just the physical attraction. So it's just.
And how did your son receive that when obviously we know in society it's only one partner, that's all they see, their friends? I mean, this is so different than what they know. So how did he receive that, or are there conversations about that from someone?
He's
I know he's
6.
really young.
Yeah, but he's also very smart. He's a starseed, so he's really like, mom. But the thing is, he loves it. My son's father is not active in his life in the sense that I would want him to be, but Michael is the sports dad, without saying everybody's name, Brandon is the other dad. He provides different elements that give my son a well-rounded, he gets to have conversations. My father's active in his life, so he gets to contribute. He gets the chance to grow through different loving encounters and loving experiences that he's a melanated brother. So in my community, we're taught to be against each other. We're taught that, if I'm a brother and I'm melanated, I'm against you and you're not on my team. So what I'm raising is culturally aware children.
Yeah, I get what she's saying, but remember back to more so when they speak about polygamy, right? Even in cultures or countries, areas where polygamy is okay and is a part of their culture, 3 to 5% people participate in it, right? It's more likely that he will be monogamous natured, but you're giving him a polygamous point of view. The only thing I would think is an issue, is these young boys get their idea of what they think about women for their mothers. If he grows up to be monogamous, I wonder, how will it affect him? Will he see women as not being able to be monogamous because of his mom? He may want to be monogamous, but may have issues when later on getting with other women because he grows up seeing his mom sharing herself with other men. Will he think this of all women? Like, oh, women want multiple men and stuff. And, I won't be able to find a woman to just want to be with me, because that's the only thing, is you're giving him this teaching. More than likely he's going to be monogamous. You may be giving him, you may be making him perceive women a certain way through you, is the only thing. And I do worry, even though ultimately I think kids do well, they just have good, responsible parents that invest into them. I do worry, are you teaching them a type of instability when it comes to relationships, not being able to fully commit to one person? I know they disguise it as they're fully committing to multiple people, but like I said before, that's impossible, and that doesn't exist.
My children are, hey, your sister's not your enemy, and your brother, your skin brother, not skin brother, they're not your enemies either. So you can learn from each other. So it's a little bit different, creating this new paradigm with my children. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning and exploring these things, but they take to it. They ask a lot of questions. I'm very open with it. And, my son loves it. He loves it.
So I don't have children on my own, but I am very close with my sister and her kids. I'm the godmother of her kids, and her youngest, she's 8, and I'm very out loud with my life. You know, it's love, and whatever I'm showing my 8-year-old, we're loving humans, you know, coexisting. So she noticed that I have a girlfriend. She loves Tio. Tio is like her world, and she finally answered. I mean, she asked about, is Daphne? Actually, the way she asked, she became very close to her daughter. They're the same age, and they became like best friends. And all of a sudden, like the
We
way
call
her
each other
brain,
cousins.
the way her brain like processed this, she came up to me. She goes, "Titi, does this mean that? Can I say her name? Does this mean that Layla is my cousin?" And like in her own brain, she kind of like did this whole math, and I was just kind of like, "Mommy, yes, you're correct." And we kind of just left it there. Then a month passed. She
See there? She's admitting to being a liar. Because how could that be her cousin? How? So you're teaching your goddaughter to lie and to misrepresent relationships, right? So how could that be healthy for a child when you can just say what you want to say, define relationships as you want to define them, and just lie about it? Yeah, that's my cousin. And I understand people have done that before when you have when you have two families that are extremely close, but that's not what that is. So you didn't really explain to her what it was. You lied.
came back home and she was like, "Titi, my friends think it's weird that you have a husband and a girlfriend." And I was like, "Oh, here I am." So I was like, "Well, mommy, the way I'm an educator, and I don't believe in like educating. I feel like is the best rather than hiding, and I'm not doing anything wrong." So the way I said it, I was like, "Well, mommy, love is love, and it's not for everybody. If mommy and daddy is enough, that's awesome. And if there's more than one person to a couple, that's also okay. But it doesn't mean that it's okay for everybody." And then I just kind of explained it as love is love. And she was like, "Okay, Titi." And she loves hers, everybody.
So she couldn't explain it. That's what it is when people, love is love, because you can't explain it. So you're not teaching it and you're not educating it to her. You gave her, "Oh, love is love." And then the first question, she's, "Oh, is that my cousin?" You lied to her. That doesn't sound like an educator to me.
It's
Thank
My daughter
you.
calls her Mamacita, me Mama, and my ex-wife Mommy. And it
so
works
she has
out.
mommy, mama, and mamacita.
Thank you.
And I'm a high school
That's weird because no one has 3 mamas.
teacher, so I've talked to students as well about polyamory. When they've asked me, "Are you married?" My students always ask that right away.
Are you allowed
married?
to share that?
And well, I don't.
Do you see this? This is how irresponsible she is. And I've got the same reaction as the host. Are you allowed to share that? You a teacher, you need to be teaching your damn subject. Be talking to my damn kid about earlier she said something about the social construct and people drinking the Kool-Aid, and she's against that. But she's perfectly okay with pushing her beliefs on other people's kids. Oh, but she don't want the social construct pushed on her, but it's okay for her to do it to other people. People get on my damn nerves, man, with they bullshit.
Me Mama, and my ex-wife Mommy. And it
So
works
she has
out.
mommy, mama, and mamacita.
Thank you.
And I'm a high school teacher, so I've talked to students as well about polyamory. When they've asked me, "Are you married?" My students always ask that right away.
Are you allowed
married?
to share that?
And well, I don't share obviously intimate sexual things with my students because I'd be fired. But what I do say is, society tells you that you're supposed to be with one person and get married and have kids. And I just want to let you know, you don't need to do that. And I've chosen not to do that with myself, and I'm really happy right now. I know it might.
And who gives a damn? It ain't no damn society teaches you that. No, my household is teaching my kids and raising them up in the way that we need to, right? We have different spiritual or religious reasons for why we're teaching what we teach in our house. And you are crossing the line up at the school trying to do, no, you're there to educate whatever subject, math, English, and whatever it is. What's wrong with this lady? And she think it's cute. She's smiling while saying this. But this is the same woman that says she don't want to have kids. No, you go have kids and teach your kids whatever you want when it comes to that.
See if you guys might think that I'm like dark and sad, but I'm actually a pretty happy person.
I agree. I actually agree with you on 2 points. Like when I was growing up, I was born and raised in America. My parents are from India. And in the New Jersey public school system, you know, I addressed my teachers as Mr., Ms., or Mrs., right? So to your point, yeah, society does tell us it's usually get married and have kids. But then on the second point you mentioned earlier, you don't care to have kids and whatnot. I'm actually the same. And as an Indian American millennial, and I make light of it. I say that I don't have a biological clock. I have a beautiful watch though.
Thank you. The next prompt is, emotional intimacy is stronger in monogamous relationships.
And I'm sorry, I just don't agree with that. I don't like people fucking with people's kids. Okay. There's different, and there's ramifications for that. You know, you messing with other people's kids and their lifestyle and what goes on in their house. It's the same thing like with religion or anything else. If you're a teacher, stick to educating children on their education, and stay away from household things like that that's going on. You're just confusing the children and stuff like that. I just don't agree with that.
Okay, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, for me personally, I am very territorial. And so I would only just want to be with that person. It's gonna be my husband, of course. Right now I'm not dating. I am in a season of dating myself. But I feel like, yeah, I would need to just be with that. It's stronger one person.
People say dumb stuff. You cannot date yourself.
And you don't have to worry about soul ties. You're not worrying about if someone has an STD or anything like that. That's just for me personally.
Emotional for me, with one person it takes a lot of energy. I feel like to spread yourself everywhere. I do have a lot of friends. I do have a lot of best friends, family, sister, everybody. I have a lot of friends that I also express myself with. But however, when it comes down to it, it's my partner who's my best friend, who I can pour myself out to. And it's wonderful. There's no judgment, and it's just a beautiful relationship.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I guess we have to acknowledge that we don't know what we don't know. Even hearing other people's things, we don't know. We're listening, but I haven't experienced it, so I can't say for sure. I think I just aspire to really build a relationship with one person and that be like the emotional backbone to everything, while also still opening up to strangers and people that I meet and not reserving my love or my candor for one partner that I'm with. But I think that sometimes in polyamorous relationships, it feels like you're kind of splitting off to other people. And I feel a little bit more potent.
I would like to speak on here. I think the beautiful part of the different types of polyamory that there is, like specifically with us, a triad, V-shape, whatever the case may be, the three of us, there's always someone to mediate. So let's say her and I, whatever, we're not conflict resolution the way that we should. That third person can come and mediate and knows us to a whole level. It's like, well, I know this about you, and this is coming from this aspect actually instead of this. And having that third person has actually helped increase our emotional intimacy. The three of us, you can hire people, but
Just
do they
too
know
many
you
people.
in and out, live with you, see your patterns, know your unhealed parts of yourself. So, you know what I mean?
So you have a crutch there. I don't see how that would make it stronger. And if we're looking at it like a muscle between just those two partners, their communication, of course, can get stronger. Versus if you're splitting that up amongst multiple people. I'm sorry, you just cannot have a stronger connection. You can't.
They know a different level of you that you can hold back to your therapist. You can't hold back your patterns that's visible. You can't hold back your unhealed self that happens to come out, but you can control what you say to your therapist. So when you have someone that you don't even realize pay that much attention, and then you hear you're at conflict resolution, they're like,
She's full of shit. You're less likely to hold back to your therapist because you're spending your money and paying them to do that. And your therapist, you don't have an emotional connection to, versus someone that you live in a house with. When you're living with somebody, you're in a relationship with them and you love them, you tend to hide things from them because you care about how they look at you. That is not when you go to your therapist how you feel about your therapist. So she's full of shit and just trying to make herself right. If I dedicate all my time, all my emotion, and all my intimacy to this one person, it is no way in hell you have stronger emotional connections and you're split between 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6 people. It doesn't make sense. It's not even debatable.
actually, can I help you guys with this? Let's, da 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 da, and we can do it. We call it the hot seat. Hey, we're gonna need to call out the hot seat, and we're gonna talk to each other about it. And we have those uncomfortable conversations, but really what it is, it's bringing us together because now we're also addressing the vulnerabilities within each other as well, and saying,
you know what the hot seat is? The hot seat is when you married to that one person and you can't escape and go to other partners. You have to sit in it in that house, no escape, and face it head on. You don't have another party coming in, being a crutch, joining in. No, just you and that person facing that issue head on. That's the hot seat.
I see you. I know where this is coming from. This is how we're going to heal from it. And we're going to be fine just together, being able to talk about it unfilteredly.
I think that's important what you mentioned. I think what she's also saying though is that if you're talking to this man for, let's talk about science, let's talk about my womb, let's talk about sex, like this person is for different things, then it's like you're splitting some of your emotional depth.
I can understand that.
You are. It's just like who remember like Mayweather and Adrian Broner, right? You got Adrian Broner, which naturally as a boxer, he was talented and an amazing boxer. But what happens? He split that with what? Oh, I want to be a rapper. Which then I'm doing this party guy. I'm drinking. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Right. And then you take somebody like Mayweather and other fighters like him. That's just like, all I do is box. That's all I do. And everything that I have, I pour it into this one thing. And so I dominate in this one thing. You can apply what they're talking about to anything in life. Now, is this true in all cases? No, because it's not, nothing's an absolute. But for the most part, the person that's all they do and they dedicate everything they have to that one thing, they're going to be stronger at that thing than someone who splits it up. Because you're trying to do boxing, you're trying to do basketball, you're trying to do rapping, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. Versus, right? That's why some people say, hey, I'm not going to have a family. I'm going to dedicate all my time to my career. This is a thing of life that we already know. This is why people hold off on certain things, because they want to dedicate everything they have to this one thing, because they know they can achieve more and get more out of it by dedicating everything to that one thing. And it's the same way if you have partners, you're not going to have a deeper emotional connection, or this intimacy is not going to be stronger when you have this one person saying, hey, I'm everything I have intimacy wise is going towards this one person, and your intimacy, you're splitting it apart. It's going to be weaker.
I have 2 children. I don't love one more than I love the other. I split myself between the 2 of them, and it's natural to me. And I do it with grace and ease. I'm a master's student now. I do that. I run a business. I'm an author. I do all these things with ease. So I'm already splitting and dividing myself.
What's up? Mr. Marcus is back. The prompt for that they're talking about now is emotional intimacy is stronger in monogamous relationships. I was saying that I agree with the prompt, because if I dedicate all my intimacy and everything I have to one person and you're splitting yours, I believe that the monogamous is going to be stronger. The same way with, when I say people hold off on getting married and having children, why? Because they want to dedicate everything they have to their career. If we're both boxers, but you are splitting your time between boxing, basketball, rapping, doing this and doing that, and I'm just dedicating everything I have to boxing, more than likely, I'm going to be a better boxer than you. Is that true for everything? No, because there's no absolutes, but you see what I'm saying? I'm dedicating everything I have to this one thing, and you're not.
So, but it's nature to balance it.
But you're a master's student, so you're in school, but in school you're not talking about your sex life. You're talking about academics. So it's different in a sense that when you have one partner, you're sharing everything with that person, all aspects of you. We're all different in different
polyamory. Each relationship is different.
It's so different.
They're not coded. They're not the same.
The point. That's the
That's
question.
like the umbrella.
And that's the point. They don't get the question. If every relationship is different, think about it. Say there's 5 parts of you, right? And you got 5 partners. You give one to this one, one to this one, one to this one, one to that one, right? Those 5 partners only have one part of you, right? Because you just said they're all different. If I'm with one person, my one person gets all 5 parts. They're equipped with more of me than each of your individual partners are equipped with parts of you. They each only have 1 or 2 parts of you. My partner got all 5 parts. So it's stronger.
The polyamory is the umbrella,
Right.
And then there's different. As
Like
you
us, we
touched on.
do life together, so we do see each other. We don't split with other people. It's us 3. You know,
They're
so
not
then
getting
She
it.
may have, let's say she had something happen to her during her day that really bothered her, and she shares it with her husband, but she doesn't share it with you. She does not have to. She does not have to. Her husband will be getting a piece of her that you did not get. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
she
that's
FaceTimes both of us at the same time. That's how literally.
well, that's
But
your
she-
relationship.
But yeah, it's true. That's part
Then
of
if
the
she
boundaries
didn't,
and
then
communication.
she's an unhealed person. Like, it's on both sides. They both work. They both can be beautiful, and it just depends on like how much trauma do you have and how much self-work have you done for you to carry on a healthy relationship.
I just feel like
I hate when people are wrong and they just go, oh, well, yeah, they both can be beautiful. No, that ain't the question. It's not a stronger intimacy, and you're realizing that.
you gotta be a mentally strong person, because I would be like, wait, what you mean you didn't tell me what happened today? Like,
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. That scenario in this case? No.
We hold it. Every night we have sacred circle and our stuff about our day. We talk about
But
it with
sometimes,
each other.
like listening to you guys, I feel like you would absolutely collapse. Actually, if you found out that something was shared,
Yeah, that's sad. But that
But
doesn't
I
happen
feel like there's
here.
a level of what I'm hearing is like control to try to mitigate things that would really hurt you, rather than being like, God, if this one person hurt me, I'd be left on my own to figure it out, and I'd have to draw from within, not from my other partner that's going to pick me up in the aisle and be like, I've got you. It's like I have to be picked up by a higher source that's invisible, not another person.
I
Same
think
with
that even
therapy,
entering
right?
into polyamory, even
I love what she just said, and that's what I was saying earlier. That's what I'm saying. And they don't realize all the control that they're putting on. There are things that sometimes my wife probably ain't going to tell me. She probably forgot. And I'm okay with that because I'm secure in my relationship that I allow for her to keep things to herself. I hate these spam callers be calling at the wrong time. What's up, Juggalo, Wolf Gang? What is up? What is up? What is up? Brother, I love that movie. He said the world really turned into the film Idiocracy, didn't it? It sure did. Please, anybody ain't seen that movie, go look at it. It makes sense. Guy freezes himself in a military experiment, wakes up in the future, and everybody is idiot. The world just got dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. It's a beautiful movie. It's like a little quirky, like little comedy thing, but it's so profound. And everybody that watches it says like they feel like that is what's happening. Because what happened in the movie is only the stupid people procreated. And it just made dumb people dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. Sir Aldrich came through and says polyamory is cheating. King says cheating is when someone doesn't know. And Sir Aldrich says, well, no, it's still cheating regardless. And the prompt that's currently going on right now, everyone, is emotional intimacy is stronger in monogamous relationships, to which I agree. Yeah, Mr. Marcus, definitely go check that movie out, man. It's hilarious. What's funny in that movie, Starbucks is no longer a coffee shop. It's a place where people go to have sex and get prostitutes, which is hilarious because a lot of people say, and I used to do some work for them. The running joke about Starbucks is that's where people go to meet up when they're cheating on their spouse. And so it's so funny to watch a movie where in the future, Starbucks is where people go to have sex. It's freaking hilarious.
Getting into that, you have to be a certain level of healed internally to even venture into it. It's not for the weak. It's not easy whatsoever. Jealousy is a real thing. You know what I mean? Being able to communicate, you have to have very high emotional intelligence, a high level of communication, and also being able to express your boundaries and say, this is what I'm okay with, this is not what I'm okay with. And before even getting into it.
So some people might think that you're actually not healed.
They're gonna
if you're in a
they're
relationship
gonna suffer.
like that.
They're gonna learn the hard way.
I was going to say on the flip side that, you know, people do have boundaries. Boundaries is the word, right? We all have boundaries in monogamous and polyamorous relationships. And sometimes our partner's boundaries, they don't want to hear that thing that went bad in your day. That's a boundary for them. They don't want to be the savior every single time you're going through something. So that's why you have other people you can do that with.
You can have yourself.
I call it like a
you don't
container.
need other people.
In relating and what I teach and coach is it's a container. So when you come home, you have a vent, you're aware of if it's your higher self speaking, your inner child, your ego, your animal side, what's speaking. So you introduce that nature and you say, hey, I have a vent. Or you ask your person. One of the reasons why my relationships are so good, I've been proposed to so many times, girl. They're married, you know, just all of these things, you know, and the reason being is because I asked for permission to drop my crap off on you. Hey, are you in a space to hear this vent? If you say no, then to your point, I have to be a big girl. I'm going to the higher self. I'm getting these downloads on how to heal myself. That takes me back into my work. Or I can go lean into a partner, or I can pay for a therapist. I have so many options, but I love going within. I love going deeper because as I like the seed, as I go deeper, I'm able to root and then come back up with new discovery. Hey, while I was down in that, I discovered something. Here's what I want to bring back to you. And maybe he just got off work. And so they come in, you don't even ask him if he's ready to take your crap, you know, if it's a safe space. And now he has to come in and bear all his stuff and then bear all your stuff. And that is encroaching, it's unfair, and it's imbalanced. So women, we love to vent and talk. So I always tell my girls, like, get you some girls if you just have to talk to somebody, because if your partner doesn't want to hold space for that in that container and they say no, yeah, you might feel shame, you might feel hurt, you might feel some type of something, but go in. Figure out why you need to be so heard by somebody right now, or get you some additional soundboards.
In your situation that you shared, you have a lot of different partners. How do you have time to meet all of these people's needs, or the ones that you're willing to meet? Take care of your children, take care of yourself, go to school. It's a lot of work to be able to commit, even if you're committing to 5 people. How do you have time for all of these things?
She don't have time for all these things. She doesn't. And that goes back to when I said whose emotional intimacy is stronger. It's going to be typically stronger amongst the people that are monogamous and living with each other and their children. Because like the black lady with the green dreads, her and all her people, they don't even stay in the same house or even the same state. She's not having to deal with them on an intimate level, day-to-day basis. Because you don't even stay in the same state as them. You don't even see them all the time.
So you don't have this overly strong, intimate relationship with them because you're popping in and out of their life versus being monogamous, living with somebody, and you got to come home to this every day. You got to deal with this. That's different. And so they want to pretend that they're living a life that they're not living. And it just sounds good to them.
Well, being a woman is a lot of work in general.
It is.
And then a mother.
Mhm.
Well, for me, the good thing about it is all of my partners were whole selves. So we're not needing each other to complete the other part of our journey. We appreciate each other and we're enjoying each other and we all love our space. The universe heard my prayer because I'm like, I have a nesting partner, but I have my own room. And I value that because when I want to share space or I want to take in your energy, I want to be able to do that. I want to go out if I want to go out, but I like what we all appreciate is space. When we commune, it's like we never stop talking. When we connect, when I fly out, I just came back from Atlanta for a month with one of my partners there. When we do these they're very intentional engagements. And when we take our space away, it's because we're doing our internal, spiritual, mental, emotional work. And we're also engaging with other partners and we're getting on with life because we get caught in this idea that relationships in this planet, relationships are just for love and sex and babies and marriage and all these things. And we're all here to evolve, to spiritually grow, to ascend. And that's the purpose of relationships. So my relationships challenged the abandonment issues that I used to have, the wounds that I used to have about being rejected and all those things, and draw me back to myself, which empowers me to essentially show up as powerful as I do in the communities that I'm placed.
The only comment I wanted to make was that one of the beautiful things about monogamy is the freedom to not have to worry about a third person thoughts or like how they're going to feel about what I'm going to say to my partner. Because like, let's say that something had occurred, I don't have to wait for a FaceTime or like to have both of them there together or speak. I can just freely speak to that partner and not have to worry to hurt like somebody else's feelings that I went to this person, not to that person. And it's just more freedom, I feel like, in general.
And the next prompt is, marriage should be allowed to exist between more than two people.
I'm saying no, it should not. It should be two people.
Got it. Okay.
Shout out to Mr. Marcus. Who said all I he said all I know is I need two women in my life, period. No more, no less. This is your part of the conversation, brother. And I ain't mad at you, man. I ain't mad at you.
And I'm not saying that I want that, but I'm just saying that, what is it called? Like, I just want to let people be. You know what I'm saying? Like, there with a lot of the questions, it's like, okay, I don't want that, but other people can.
Right.
Do I want it to become more and more prevalent? I'm not so sure. But I think that if that's what seems like it's working for someone and that's what they want for themselves, I'm not going to sit around and be like, don't do that. I'm not afraid of it. I don't want it. I haven't found that I want that. But if someone else seems to need that, I just don't feel like I'm really that motivated to change people's minds.
Yeah, I think it was more so geared towards our own personal feelings, like what we want for our own lives. Like for me, I'm like, oh yeah, no, it just needs to be me and my husband. But for you guys, it's like, I'm not going to be like, no, they should be shunned or anything. It's like people should live how they want to live.
I believe marriage is a religious and cultural concept which was created generations ago.
Right.
Times have
Created.
changed.
It's not our nature.
Created. You
Right,
said it
times
right.
have changed, and
It's
it
not
was
your
established
nature.
centuries, generations ago, and so things have changed. Times have changed. But back then, they didn't know about, or even for me, I'm in my mid to late 30s now. Like me, growing up in the 90s, I didn't know what LGBTQT or anything was. It just wasn't taught in the New Jersey public school system, if
It
you will.
wasn't taught in our school system.
Right.
either.
No, but
Yeah.
again, since the 90s, things have changed. Culture, social media, internet.
But
My own sister is 35 and she's LGBTQT. So even in the Indian community, that's like jaw dropping. But again, it just times have changed. Things have changed.
I would say for centuries, there's documents and history of polygamy, polyamory, multiple wives, multiple husbands. Biblically,
I know.
it's definitely mirrored throughout time, space, centuries, ancestrally, religiously, culturally. I think that America, I'm just going to say it, America as a whole has the society, the cultural pressures of society, I think, has limited our capacities, our mindsets into what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed. I think it's more of a societal thing than it is more than anything else. But there's definitely like history of it in the past.
Marriage is between two people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you allow more than two people, then people could be married multiple times without the knowledge of the first person, and that can cause problems.
Well,
So
that's
the
not
other,
ethical.
so that could be confusing. The other thing is that if you are in a polygamous relationship, in a way, you're also invalidating that person's rights to their, like if they put in money, there's 3 people that are married, you're putting money into the pot. That person also deserves their piece of the pot. So when they break up, what happens is that they don't have any legal status. So then that's another issue.
Let me ask this just across both sides. Do you see marriage as a legal contract, a spiritual bond, or both?
Both.
Okay, so all of it. Do you think that the government or society should have any power to define what marriage looks like?
Absolutely not.
Well, anyone have a yes?
But the government has to have some say so in that, because when people break up and you want things enforced, who do you think does it? Right? So you can't say you don't want any government involvement. Then, like for the women, this man ups and leaves. Who's going to enforce that he doesn't just abandon you and the child or children, right? If he's able to get to the bank before you and take all the money out, who you want to come and back you up and enforce that? Yeah, the government. So you do want it involved. Let's stop lying to each other. And let's stop being fake and phony about that. You damn sure want them involved.
Do you think that the government or society should have any power to
At
ever
all.
define what marriage should look like?
Well, there should be some kind of definition to understand what marriage is in the legal status.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like if you met me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said love and marriage are the same thing. But life has hit me in the past couple of years, and I've realized that love and marriage are 2 different things.
Marriage is a business contract.
Right. Yes. Agreed.
And it has to define it in a way, because if you don't define something, how do you enforce the rules later on? God forbid you on your deathbed, you want your partner to be able to say whether to pull the plug or not, right? And make those decisions on your behalf when you're incapacitated. The same way of, you pass away, who's going to bury you and make those decisions and honor your. So it has to be defined in order to, because you can't make rules about something that's not defined, right? And I can understand the other side might not like those rules because they just want to be, I'll just be with whoever I want to be with. And this is intimacy and we're all in this relationship and stuff. So I can see why they're saying that they're living without any rules or any clear definitions to anything, which is why I said it can't be fully committing or full intimacy, because it's not even clearly defined. So how can we even say what it is, what they're doing on the poly, this poly side? And they don't sound like, when I talk to other people that are in poly, I wouldn't define them as poly. And I think that's a part of the problem, is the way they talk about poly to me makes no sense. I've talked to other people about poly and it made sense. They're kind of not wanting to be monogamous and they want to live this free life, right? And they say, oh, well, what should we call it? Oh, we'll just call it the opposite of monogamy, poly. But poly has structure. It's not just this free, do whatever you want. It has structure to it. And I don't hear any structure coming from this side.
And if you
It can
wouldn't- yeah, if you don't want to go into this business contract with this person, first of all, the legal aspect, I think most of you guys, we've all been legally married. The legal aspect doesn't bound somebody. Oh, right. Yeah, my bad, sorry. Yeah, but the legal aspect doesn't bound that person to you. And I think that's what we get hung up on as a culture sometimes, is like, oh, if you marry me, then you're mine, which is possession, it's aggression, and it's not rooted in facts, because like we've all touched on, someone can still decide against that. For me, marriage is spiritual. That's why I didn't really answer that, because I don't think that the government can tell me who to not love. You already want to tell me what to eat, what to drink, how to dress, you're a slut if you're not monogamous. When to your point, men are non-monogamous, but if a woman comes out non-monogamous, now, you're a harlot, all these negative things. So we're already really very oppressed by their ideas and their thoughts and their visions of what we as a culture should be, when we've got, as you said, centuries of proof that in addition to that, they've meant us no well. They don't, these are not.
She just saying stuff. She's just saying anything. The government didn't. What is she talking about? People walking around calling people whores. The government ain't issuing statements on who's a whore or a harlot.
These are just one size fits all. I don't even like one size fits all clothes. I don't want a one size fits all relationship, you know, because it's different. You know, it's going to be very different depending on what you're requiring and the work you've done, like you said.
And I feel like there's so many of us on this planet to think that you should follow this one format. And if you don't, you're a slut.
There
Or
definitely has to be
monotheism.
some fixing. Like I said, like there has to be a way where legitimate polygamous people who are not marrying little kids or anything else like that, who are actually, no, because they do take advantage. There's a situation like that in the past. But in your situation, for example, where you're adults and you're consenting, where she could still have some kind of legal status
That's
if
where
she's, you know what I mean? Like there
wills
should
and
be
trusts, things
something like that
That's
for
where that
people
comes
like
in
that,
for.
because in a way it protects
You know,
that
and we will
person.
actually
polygamy
love
is
that.
actually illegal in the United States.
I know,
You
that's
what I
what
mean? So I wish it would. I told all the time I'd marry you in a heartbeat. What I feel for you inside here, my whole being, was more than I ever felt. My 15 years of legally married, court documents, all that kind of stuff, because it is a spiritual connection on top of that. And your history with someone has nothing to do with it. It's that ultimate connection. And for her, I told her I'd marry you tomorrow if it was legal, and it isn't. But spiritually, I say all the time, spiritually you're mine, spiritually I'm yours, and it's right now, right here, right
I'm
here.
a reverend. Let's do it. I'm a
asking,
minister. Let's do
you
it.
could marry her if
Let's
she
do
got
it.
divorced from the husband, right?
Right, but why would I do that? Why would I limit her love? Right? She loves him. They love each other. They were together even before me. Why would I even do that? That's an ego.
Why to
coming
add
in.
more love?
Why
you
we
have
can
to
just
remove
add it.
love.
Right. And to
To add
your
more
sake,
love to your life, remove love.
yeah, and you could even
No sense.
even to you, I agree with you. There should be some type of legal definition in between. I shouldn't be able to go and get married off in another country and my partners not know about it. That's crazy, and it's also dishonest. So if there was a way also to be like legally, yes, these two people are married. Yes, I'm going to be married with them. Now the three of us are married, and there was some way to do that, I'd be totally down. It isn't a thing.
There's
I'd
a
be totally
reason
down,
why
though.
it became illegal, though.
It
in
was
Utah,
never
because-
illegal.
No, in Utah,
I mean-
it became illegal because they were taking advantage. Some people were taking advantage of that, and the minors. It was a whole thing, but you should look that up. But I do feel that there should be some kind of resolution towards that. And the other thing I wanted to, I do feel like there should be a resolution to that. I just feel there's got to be something.
Well, the reason is control. The reason is control. If too many people come together, and like Dr. York, if too many people come together on the same mind frame with the same, putting all their resources together, and there's you can overthrow governments, you can overthrow things that are conditioned, preconceived for you, that set you up for what they want to see. So we got to keep that separate. Just put two of you, monotheism, monogamy, all this mono. Let's keep it mono so that we stay right there. So that
One thing that I'll go ahead and say it because maybe these ladies won't. Something that does come up in terms of marriage is the idea of being selfish.
I gotta stop her for a minute, and this is why I was saying when because mind you, I'm not against polygamy when practiced the correct way that polygamy is practiced. So when I speak to other people, because I open a lot of spaces on this app, it's called Clubhouse. It's been popularized by I know if anybody listens to Whack 100 content, he's on Clubhouse, right? When I speak to people from other countries and cultures, and when they listen to like American people that say, "Oh, we're practicing polygamy," they shake their heads at them. They don't agree with them. They're like, "Wait a minute, y'all are just doing anything, calling it polygamy. This is not what it is," right? So that's what I'm pointing out in this video is people just say they're practicing something that I don't think they're actually practicing it. They're just giving it a name. I do want to point out that the woman on the end, where I'm at, 116. The black lady is talking about the government and everything, right? This black lady, she's talking about the government. Now, before she spoke, this lady right here was talking, and she was speaking about polygamy. And she said, well, there should be some legality to even polygamy. Even though she sits on the monogamous side, she said there still should be some legal aspect to polygamy to keep things fair. And she said, well, you know, just as long as they're not marrying children. And then someone on the polygamy side made a face. And then this lady right here in the green says, well, no, things like that were going on in the past. We have to be careful. But the black lady brought up Dr. York, and she's speaking all this government talk. And this is why I always say you gotta be careful when you talking to people and where they get their information from and whose teachings they're following, right? She's talking about Dr. Malachi York, who is serving a 135-year federal prison sentence for convictions related to child sexual abuse, racketeering, and financial crimes. He is currently incarcerated at ADX Florence, a federal supermax prison in Colorado. If you listen long enough to people, it'll make sense. They just believe in anything and saying anything and referencing people and following teachings they don't know nothing about. And it's crazy how that unfolded, that the lady in the green was speaking. I'm trying to see where if I
legitimate polygamous people who are not marrying little kids or anything else like that.
She just said it right there, who are not marrying little kids or anything like that.
A connection, and for her, I told her,
And then the
marry you
black
tomorrow
lady comes
if it
in
was
after
legal,
that
and
and
it
says,
isn't. But spiritually,
Dr.
I say all
York.
the time, spiritually you're mine, spiritually I'm yours, and it's right now, right here, right
I'm
here.
a reverend. Let's do it.
I'm
I'm a
asking,
minister. Let's do
you
it.
could marry her if
Let's
she
do
got
it.
divorced from the husband, right?
Right, but why would I do that? Why would I limit her love? Right, she loves him. They love each other. They were together even before me. Why would I even do that? That's an ego.
Why to
coming
add
in.
more love?
Why
do
we
you have
can
to
just
remove
add it,
love?
right? And to
To add
your
more
sake,
love to your life, remove love.
yeah, and you could even
No sense.
even to you, I agree with you. There should be some type of legal definition in between. I shouldn't be able to go and get married off in another country and my partner's not know about it. That's crazy, and it's also dishonest. So if there was a way also to be like legally, yes, these two people are married. Yes, I'm going to be married with them. Now the three of us are married, and there was some way to do that. I'd be totally down. It isn't a thing.
There's
I'd
a
be totally
reason
down
why
though.
it became illegal, though.
It
in
was
Utah,
never
because-
illegal.
No, in Utah,
I mean-
it became illegal because they were taking advantage. Some people were taking advantage of that, and the minors. It was a whole thing, but you should look that up. But I do.
And she is correct. It wasn't necessary. I don't think it was necessarily legal, but it wasn't necessarily outlaw. I don't think they had laws for it at the time, but it was practiced to the point where they would have to say, okay, this is illegal.
Feel that there should be some kind of resolution towards that. And the other thing I wanted to, I do feel like there should be a resolution to that. I just feel there's got to be something.
Well, the reason is control. The reason is control. If too many people come together, and like Dr. York, if too many people come together on the same mind frame with the same cutting off.
So I told you, she said, like Dr. York. I was just in a debate with some dude on Clubhouse, and he brought up Dr. York. And I said, you know what, dude, that's why you talking all that weird stuff. Why would you even reference that dude in here? And nobody in the space knew who Dr. York was. And me and another young lady had to read off this dude and who he is, man. Like, but that's one of the people she follows. That's crazy to me.
All their resources together, and there's you can overthrow governments, you can overthrow things that are preconceived for you that set you up for what they want to see.
Shout out to the real Alicia. Exactly. So you already know. So when somebody's coming at you trying to push these teachings on you and they reference Dr. York, like, nah, I already know not to listen to you. I already know. I'm shutting down the conversation with you right away. But you have people that still believe in him that'll be like, no, they set him up. That they lied on him. Like, what are you talking about? He went to court, they proved it, right? They proved it. And you can't pick and choose when something's been proved and someone's been convicted of something. Even though we know people get falsely accused, false imprisonment, we know, but that ain't the case in Dr. York. Okay. Sorry, it's not the case.
So we got to keep that separate. Just put two of you: monotheism, monogamy, all this mono. Let's keep it mono so that we stay right there. So that
one thing that I'll go ahead and say it because maybe these ladies won't. Something that does come up in terms of marriage is the idea of being selfless. Sometimes it can sound like the relationships that you're having are very selfish, in a sense that you're saying, I want it all. I don't want to sacrifice. I don't want to. I don't like to say I don't want to suffer, but there is some self-development. I know you talked about how you grow and you learn with.
Shout out to Yeti Porter says, bro, how you believe in the government so much? The government didn't take Dr. York down. The police department did. So yeah. There are people that are predators. They get caught, they get taken to court, evidence is presented, and they get locked up. So I would ask anybody, how do you believe in one person so much? People lie. Okay. They do. Sometimes about big things, sometimes about little things. I remember I went to a mega church and the pastor came out the closet. That's not necessarily some big thing that's going to get somebody locked up, but we did not know that him and his wife had actually been divorced at the time. He finally came out and told the congregation, hey, me and my wife are no longer married. You know, he came out the closet. And this is, years after, him and his wife been married for all these years. They got kids. At the time, they had like 2 other children that were grown and had moved out the house. So it's not about overly trusting the government, but you can't overly vilify, demonize the government either. To suggest that the government is trying to stop you from building your own community, the government is going to swoop in and kill you all, is a freaking lie. They have communities right now that you have families that have came together, built land, and are thriving and doing well. The government ain't showed up to steal their land and kill them and stuff like that. That's insane to me. I don't know why people think that. That's crazy. You got people that live off the grid. You do whatever you want to damn do in this country, so as long as you're not breaking the law. The government, why would the government come steal your little land? What power, what military, what ammunition do you possess that would threaten the government? Like what that black lady with the green dress was saying. Are people high? You think that you gonna build land, get you some farmland, and the government is gonna be threatened by you and they gotta come and kill you and take you out? That's dumb. That is not gonna happen. You ain't got enough power to take them down. They ain't the least bit concerned with you and your little farmland and your little community. Come on, stop it. Now, if you dig in your backyard one day and some oil pop up, that's a different discussion. But no, the government ain't. People always say that and they use it as an excuse as to why they want to do something or they don't want to do something. Why are like, even especially with black people, why y'all not building your community up and everything? Oh, they ain't gonna do nothing but come burn it down. People just be saying stuff, man. Like, stop it. You have people that are doing it, so you can do it. So you can't say it's impossible or say the government is going to come and tear you down, because the government is not doing that to other people that look just like you that are currently doing it. Okay. We have black banks. I don't think the government's going around shooting the missiles at the black banks that black people own. So come on, stop.
with these different partners. But part of what makes marriage beautiful is the fact that you are going through some of these pains, these hardships, because of self-denial and sacrifice that end up.
Oh, and the Yeti, I was speaking. I wasn't calling you dumb or stupid or anything like that. I was just speaking to the idea. I think is a silly one. Because you have people doing it already and they're thriving and they're okay.
Blessing your life.
I feel like it's on both sides of that, right? And the same way that you feel a heartbreak in monogamy, you can feel that in polyamory. And I would tell you, it's a bitch when it's all at the same time, right? So your main partner and your other partner, or whatever partner you're in a situation with, imagine both those heartbreaks at the same time. That's a lot. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times we hear about the positive side and how it can work, and just like the negative side too. Or I wouldn't say negative. I would say the learning moments in between too is that heartbreak is intense. The heartbreak is a lie, especially.
Oh, Yeti, I do agree with that. Learn to govern self in godly form. I agree to that one. That is always. I think we was getting into the government part too, because they were saying, should government be involved with marriage? And I said it has to be, because they have to define it, because after marriage, people want rules enforced. So if you are a woman, you don't want the man to be able to abandon you and the children, right? So you go to the government to enforce that. But in order to force that, there has to be it has to be defined, so we can say, okay, according to this, we can enforce it. So you can't say you don't want the government involved. You don't want them involved at all. But then on the back end, you need that protection. So there's protections that we all get under the government. So when people say that, hey, no government involvement, they're being dishonest. Okay. That's all they're being. They're being dishonest people. If you are a man or woman and the relationship ends and your partner gets to the bank before you do and take all the money out, you want some form of government to come in your favor and enforce law on your behalf. So we can't say we don't want no government involvement. That's impossible.
If she's mad, and she's mad, oh, I got my work cut out for me. It's not the easiest thing, and it is just as devastating in a monogamous relationship, because again, it's a different type of love. You're still feeling that hurt, you're still feeling that pain, you're still in that, just now twice.
Kind of piggyback off of that is that it kind of sounds like, in a way, one, there's two people, they're happy, you were happy, however, you decided that you wanted to add a third person because you were not being satisfied you wanted to add a woman into it. Would you think of that as like perhaps being selfish?
Oh, so you're talking about this side. Oh, I thought you were talking about a marriage with two people. So yes, so what I'm saying is,
oh, and the main issue that I think it is not necessarily with the government, is people not knowing law and how to make the government work for them. If you know law and you know your rights and you're educated and you know how to operate, then I think you'll be fine. Most people don't know they don't know the laws or anything. So they don't know how to make the government work for them, and they suffer because of that. And they just go, oh, well, all government is bad. And it's just not true.
Is the different aspects, the variety of choices that come with being polyamorous can appear to be selfish, in the sense that situation is an example of saying like, yeah, I want it all. And if my husband is with it, then let's go. If he's not, maybe you would say, no, okay, then I'll just suppress a side of me. I don't know if you would say that, but you have a husband who's open. So it was okay for you. But let's say you had a husband who wasn't open. Who knows what you would do in that situation, and that could hurt him. And you don't always know what he's feeling. There may be days where he feels like he has sacrificed for you, and he wishes it wasn't that way, even though it's fine for him. He liked it better before. So in those ways, you don't always know what a person is experiencing, and it could sometimes feel selfish.
I feel like culture and religion for many years have made us feel shame around wanting more. Like there's nothing wrong about wanting more. And if there's communication, honesty, and everyone's okay, then we're not hurting anybody. Like the whole culture of like holding back or denying yourself things because of whatever, why? Like, I feel like I want, the saying of you can't have your cake and eat it too. I want the whole bakery, and
Oh, man.
I should be okay with that. I shouldn't be made to feel shame because I want to be extra happy.
And I could also, from his point of view, like what he has said and being around him, love is unconditional. And he's like, I love her unconditionally. To say I only love you if you only love me, that's conditional. So I've heard him from his own mouth say to her so beautifully, I love you unconditionally. That's real love, is wanting also you to be all sorts of happy and acknowledging that there's a portion here that I just can't do that. So, and being able to have that.
And also when he met me, I was living with a woman. And so he knew the side of me, and we met at a fetish party. We already were in an alternative dynamic. We were already open, to different dynamics. So when he saw that I really love women, he already knew. He's like, I will never be able to touch you like a woman.
I want us to all get back together in 7 years and to see where it's all gone. I'm so curious. There's such a curiosity about what will come of all of this,
So I feel, to your point, the question was like, what if he has said no? And I don't feel that was answered. I feel like if he has said no, because he was open, but there are some men that are not open to that.
Or what if he changes his mind, like going forward, he's like, you know what, maybe I just want us to be together. Sorry.
I'm fortunate enough to be with a man who he has his PhD in human sexuality, super mature about himself and who he is in my life, that he doesn't feel threatened by any other energies getting close to me.
So she's not going to answer the question. Okay.
When you mentioned that, someone can love you so much unconditionally that they can allow you to just be happy, that's what's important to them. It made me think of women specifically who are married to men who are cheating or who are doing these things, but because they love him so much, they stay, they deal with it. They just turn a blind eye because they love him unconditionally and they want to be with him so bad that they'll allow him to do whatever he wants to do. And that part is unfortunate, but it does remind me of that in a sense when you talk about that.
It's very sad that there's a lot of lack of self-love. When you allow others and you're dealing, you shouldn't be dealing, It's more about look inside and work on yourself, love yourself to where you don't have to deal with any situation that you don't have to.
I think it's just this parallel really fast that, like, is he sacrificing possibly to keep you? And I think there's been a lot of conversation about, like, I think a little bit of a fear of breaking up, and you guys don't want to let go of the partners that you have. And so what do you do in an effort to keep someone and not let go? And that could be sacrifice some of the values and maybe a value at some point of monogamy, just so someone doesn't leave you. You'll be open to them being with whomever else and having more happiness or love in their life. So you don't have to go through the heartbreak or some trigger.
I just want to say how proud I am of my poly panel over here. I think these ladies are just amazing and so well articulated. And I just love hearing all of your thoughts about all of it. And it feels validating to me to hear what you guys are experiencing. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say that the most prominent misconception is that polyamory is for sex. It's not. That's all.
I just want to say that if you're willing to venture into an alternative situation, just make sure you're doing self-work and that you're not just spilling your trauma onto everyone.
Yeah, I would say just be honest with yourself, not because of what your parents told you culturally, society, or anything. What do I need out of life? And is this going to sustain me for the rest of my life, for the short time that you're here on earth? Can you be truly happy like this? And it's okay if the answer is yes. And it's okay if the answer is no. Like, at the end of the day, just look into yourself and just be honest with yourself through and through, regardless of where you fall. And think.
She's irritated me this whole conversation. It's like one of them people that just want to be like, oh, I'm so deep in thought, and just everything I say is so profound, even though there's no direction, because She says everything is okay. It's okay if you do this. It's okay if you do that. It's okay if you do this. It's okay if you do that.
More than anything else.
I want to thank everyone for all of their perspectives and for sharing. And also, I think that it can be challenging I almost feel like when you're more traditional, it's like you suddenly become like alternative. And maybe like there's shame around holding to old values. So I think that there's bravery on both sides of acknowledging a preference and a desire.
Yes.
Yeah, I will. This was a beautiful conversation, and I thank you guys for even, sharing with us as well, and us sharing with them. And again, mental is number one, mental health, and I'll just hope that everyone finds true happiness and the love that we all desire.
I want to echo that. I do believe happiness is North Star. Love is love. And as an Indian American millennial, I mentioned this earlier, I grew up absorbing both cultures, and neither culture is right nor wrong. They're just different. So with that established, when it comes to this group dynamic, neither of us are right nor us versus you. It's not, neither of us are right nor wrong. We're just different. And our differences is what makes us a beautiful community, and makes the world the way it is.
I just want to say I appreciate all of you sharing your stories, and I really enjoyed it. And also the fact that I love the fact that every single one of you is different in the sense that you're all on that side. However, all of you have different reasons why you decided to go that route, and you were open enough to share that with us and with everyone, really. And that's really brave. And yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much, ladies,
Thank
all
you
for being
all.
here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, I loved hearing from all of you, and I appreciate the honesty and the vulnerability on both sides. Thank you so much for watching. If there's something that was shared today that was interesting to you, something that you want to share in the comments, we would love to hear from you. And until next time.
That is the end of that. I don't know how much more I could have taken. I gotta be honest with you. To me, it just sounded like a bunch of freaky mess going on. Because you had the two women on the show that are with each other, and one of them has a husband. They in the BDSM. They got their own business where people come there to have sex. I'm not gonna knock them. I know they're having a lot of fun in that house. Okay, so I get you can't fool me. I know what you're doing. All right, as cool. Hey, love is love, as they say. I guess whatever. If that's what they decide to do, stay freaky, my friends. Oh my goodness, that's crazy, man. Hey, shout out to everybody that came through, man. My brother, Mr. Marcus, in the building, man. I appreciate you, bro. Where's my thing? Oh, also, if you could and you haven't done it already, make sure you thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to get more content, put me more so in the algorithm. But I do appreciate all the support. My channel has been growing, and I ain't the best at YouTube. I'm trying my best. I'm learning every day. I started doing this because I remember before I had like crazy stage fright, and then like just getting in front of the camera just helps me. And I just like being on here talking to people and having fun with my friends and stuff. People like my brother, Mr. Marcus, or the Prince of Petty, and it's just something we do to come online and socialize. Let me go. All right, I want to say shout outs to my brother, Mr. Marcus himself. Shout outs to Leia Davis. Shout out to BCJ, Sir Aldrich. Shout out to Tip. Shout out to Naya. Shout out to King. Shout out to Yeti. Shout out to LTR Veteran. Shout out to Jason and Jason. Shout out to James, shout out to Fry, shout out to the real Alicia, shout out to Full Metal, Chad, shout out to Ruth Harris, shout out to Ted Christopher, and Gigolo Wolf. I appreciate you all. I'm about to end it. Get off. Damn, I said get off after talking about monogamy and polygamy and people having sex. I didn't mean get off that way, guys. But I think I'm gonna come back with another line. I'm damn sure gonna do one tonight, but I need to record some videos because the holiday I got too laxed and spending time with family, which I had fun. So I wasn't on YouTube or any social media really, because just you want to appreciate and dedicate your time to your family when they're in town and stuff. I just didn't want to sacrifice myself at the time to be on here. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you, Mr. Marcus, man. Thank you for looking out, man, for the 20 today, man. I appreciate that, brother. I really, really do, man. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. And all your support, man, always coming through and helping me out, man. I appreciate that. So to next time, I might be back. I don't know. I'm gonna check and see. I might be back in an hour or so. I'm definitely gonna do something later on tonight, but it's a long video, so it's gonna be like a hangout. It's gonna be like a hangout session, right? You know what I mean? So shout out to you. I appreciate you today too, Yeti. So yeah. Peace. How did I there you go. All right, man. Catch y'all. I struggle with saying goodbye because I love being on here, man. But I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'll be back.
Risky behavior.